3 combat deployments as a naval commander. Taylor Burks will stand with President Trump against rhinos and the corrupt establishment. In Congress, Burks will always put America first. He'll work with Trump to deport every last illegal, ban communist China from owning 1 inch of our land, and protect our elections by passing the SAVE Act once and for all. So if you want to tell off the political establishment, you conservative warrior Taylor Burks, an America First patriot for Congress. Paid for by Show Me Valor PAC. www.showmevalorpac.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Show Me Valor PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
Hey there, it's Jill Schlesinger. I'm launching a new show. It's called Money Moves, and your money is going to move. We're going to help you make better financial decisions. We're going to call out the BS you're finding all over social media. We're going to give you actionable guidance to make your financial life clearer, less stressful. We're going to answer your financial questions and take the mystery out of your financial life. Follow and listen to Money Moves with Jill Schlesinger wherever you get your podcasts.
Range Bait with Dusty Likens is now up on the Fan's YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter channels. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
And welcome to After Hours. Jay Binkley, Nathan Williams. Yeah, you might have heard Nathan this morning. This dude's a gamer, man. I always talk about the guys that are willing to put in the work, do the time. Nathan Williams here this morning, 6 to 10 with Fesco and Dusty. Then, of course, he'll be with them tomorrow, too. What's up, Nathan?
Bink, how you doing, man? It's been a little while.
It's good, Nathan. Yeah, it has been a while. But you know what happens is when the fall comes around, you and I will be together a lot more. That's kind of how things work.
That's right.
We've got a lot to do today. Of course, I like talking Royals with you. I like talking Kansas City Chiefs with you, my friend. We have Ron Kopp, Arrowhead Pride. He's the new editor, arrowheadpride.com, as we look at a camp preview for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll talk a lot about their camp and some of the position battles that we'll look forward to as they get back on there with the veterans reporting tomorrow, and then they practice on Wednesday. And, of course, the rookies and quarterbacks have been here since Friday. Mahomes had the day off. Then, of course, be a full squad. Then they'll put the pads on this weekend, Nathan. Pad day is always a fun time. But when you go to pad day, that's always when it gets real. Like, it's real until you put the pads on. Then it gets – because, you know, guys can run around and OTAs and everything else. And I know they put pads on to a limited extent sometimes during that. But when you put the pads on, things become a little bit different. Because some guys – you've seen that speed at the combine. You've seen it all. Put it together with the pads on, and then we'll see what you got, because there's a different level of football when you do that.
Well, help define this for me, because the prevailing thought right now at this point is they're practicing against air. Is that what? Does that stop when the pads come on, or are they still practicing against air, in your opinion? So, for instance, this is why I'm asking. When the pads go on, are we allowed to make left knee observations as it relates to the quarterback?
Sure, you can do a lot more when it comes to that, but certain guys show up and shine when you're in shorts. and guys, and
Amen,
I always
brother.
get a kick out of the OTA catches for touchdown, even in camp sometimes, because you'll see them. Some receiver will make a nice one-handed grab or make a great sideline grab and go down 65, 70 yards, and then you always have to ask yourself, that was great, but was it full contact? That's great, but what defensive back? Was that against Noah Williams? Was that against Mansour Delane? Or was that against somebody that's going to be selling Geico insurance here in a couple of months? Because that stuff does matter. Like, who did it happen against when the physicality? But just like Andy Reid's always said, wait till they get to camp, you put the pads on and stuff like that, and you see what type of player you have. But one thing's for sure is you got the heat, you got training camp heat, which we have, and you'll have the storms. There'll be probably at least 2 storms that interrupt practice, and they'll go indoors for it in St. Joe. You know it's always going to happen.
Yeah, it's Cody and Alex's favorite day of the year when that storm rolls through about 9 a.m. and they got to decide, hey, do we drive back to the studio or try to get to a dry location here at St. Joe? Those two guys love that day every year.
Storm
They can't wait for it.
Always got to look forward to storm day. So we'll definitely talk a lot of Kansas City Chiefs. Our phone number, 913-586-7965, is the J Southland Tow Service text line. It's also the phone number, 913-586-7965. And Lance already chimed in with his first tweet, how much do I love Jeff Caldwell? We'll get the camp guys in a little bit because Jeff Caldwell is definitely going to be a camp guy. We'll get to Salvi here in just a second, Nathan. But, of course, the big news today with the EB and the unfortunate thing of his wife, being shot there at their home in Virginia. Their son's been arrested at this point. One of their Elijah Bieniemy, I believe it is.
It is.
One of the sons there. But again, it's way too early to even discuss that. It's a family matter at this point. I don't know where you come out on, Nathan, but when these things happen, it's kind of like just let the facts go. Just I know you guys did a good job on the facts of what was out there, what's in print. There's no speculation. You let it play its course. Again, this is a personal issue at this point.
Yeah, and of course, we're talking a lot about Elijah, and obviously he's innocent until he's proven guilty. It's all allegedly.
Alleged.
Yes, of course. But for right now, the thing.
But he has been arrested for it.
He has been.
That's
He's suspected to have, shot Mia Bieniemy, his mother. And so the thing that I heard CDOT talking about it. I know we were talking about this morning with Bob and Dusty. Is just, can you imagine getting the call? Hey, your wife's been shot in the chest. We think your son did it. And by the way, there's another son that needs caretaking that lives in that home as well. And so I think about Eric's world being turned upside down right about 24 hours ago at this point. And I can't imagine what went through that man's mind last night. It must have been just an awful time. I can't
imagine. You obviously thinking about that family, with Aaron EB, that's been, such a fixture around here for a long time and got a lot of respect amongst the players and the coaching staff as well. So in time, that'll take care of itself at that point, as obviously a major deal with the Kansas City Chiefs today. This weekend, you saw Salvador Perez become the all-time leader in home runs for the Kansas City Royals. I assume that'll be one of those marks they talk about if he ever gets into the Hall of Fame, because I did watch the Hall of Fame speeches this weekend, Nathan. I don't know if you saw them, but I heard you guys talking about it a little this morning, that it kind of gets overshadowed a little bit with the Hall of Fame speeches, and they do. I mean, they're over on MLB Network. Now, Vern and I were talking about today. I talked to Vern about the Hall of Fame speeches. I said, did you watch them? I said, yeah, I watched them. But they're buried on MLB Network, which is fine because I watch a lot of MLB Network, and Vern does, but I don't know if a ton of people, actually spend much time on MLB Network or have it. The service I have happens to have MLB Network, so obviously I've watched it for years. I love the channel, but I don't know. Do you get MLB Network with the service you have?
Yeah, the reason that I buy, and it's a DirecTV stream. So it's right around the cost of the YouTube TV. I'm not sure where it shakes out, but the reason I get that is because it has Red Zone available as an upgrade. It has MLB Network in the package, and then it has the Royals package as well available as an upgrade. So I use that service because it has all my sports that I like to watch in under one umbrella. But I'm not tapped into the Hall of Fame speeches like that. I mean, I used to be growing up. It was appointment television for me on the last Sunday in July to sit there and listen to the speeches. But growing up, as life's gotten busier, it's one of those things that, it just gets buried. It goes by the wayside.
Well, it's a lot better than being there with the 100-degree weather, because I think it was pretty damn hot wet in Cooperstown this weekend, because those speeches can get long. Some of them are real short. Some of them keep it real short, and some of them thank everybody in their lives, which does take some time. But I wanted to see Beltran. Because Beltran was a big part of what I watched in Kansas City. And I'll say this, too. I've never seen an outfield And I don't know if we'll ever see an outfield as good as it was when Beltran was out there with Jermaine Dye and Johnny Damon. You're talking about speed. You're talking about power. You're talking about great defense. What an outfield that was. And I don't know, with your age, Nathan, if you can recall much of that outfield with Damon, Beltran, and Dye, but it was certainly a pleasure to watch that.
It was. So it was in the infancy of my Royals fandom. I talked with, this morning, we talked about my first Royals game that I ever attended in person. That was, the first game I attended in person was a Friday in July of 2004. It was the day after they had traded Carlos Beltran.
Ooh.
David DeJesus started in center field, and he wasn't acquired in the Beltran trade, but he was still new.
David was always kind of fun to watch, too.
He was,
he wasn't
but
Beltran,
for better or for worse, he was viewed as Beltran's replacement, and he was booed heavily that night, and he became my favorite player at that point in time. I was a David DeJesus fan
Nice.
from there on out. So I was barely watching games, barely old enough to remember Royals baseball when, Damon, Dye, Beltran, when Raul Ibanez was doing his thing, when Sweeney was at the height of his career. I was pretty early on as a Royals fan.
Beltran was can't-miss guy. I call him don't go grab a beer when they're up guy. That was Carlos Beltran, always doing something. So fun to watch when he played. Spent 6 years with the Royals, spent 6 years with the New York Mets as well. Obviously went into the Hall of Fame as a New York Met. I know the Cooperstown, they basically decide what you're going to wear with the input, I think, from the player as well. But it was nice to hear stories about how George Brett kind of, was that voice that he leaned on, there at the beginning. It's been always nice to have that Hall of Famer, around the organization. And I'll be honest with you, can't you just picture Salvador Perez when he's done playing in Surprise, Arizona with the younger players? Like, it just seems like that's what he would do. Like, I think he's destined to be on a coaching staff, to be honest with you. He likes the game too much.
He doesn't strike me as a guy that would be in the front office or a guy that would maybe even be a manager. He also doesn't strike me as a guy who you're never going to see again. He strikes me as George Brett is the perfect example. I'll pop up and be a coach in the dugout for a little while if you need me. Otherwise, I'm an advisor. I'm a voice in the ear of the players. That's sort of an unofficial sort of rah-rah guy on the coaching staff. That's exactly what I picture Salvador Perez as after he retires.
Yeah, it was interesting. I'm glad he got the record, but it's always fun. And I was talking to Vern. I think one of the highlights I like is the guys coming back, because they had like 60 guys come back and watch it. And when they do the introductions, 5-time Silver Slugger, 12-time All-Star, and for Brett, they said, member of the 85 championship team, the highest batting average, since Ted, Booney, when he hit 390 and when he was going for 400. There's so many things. I think one of the caveats they didn't throw in there that you could, because I think it makes a nice Hall of Fame caveat, is he's the only player ever to have a batting title in 3 different decades. Because remember, you got the front end and the back end there of 89 or in the 90s.
That's right.
So, yeah, but seeing them go in there was fun, but the respect they had for the game and how difficult it is to get to the hole, that 1% of 1%. And the one thing all those guys had is the one thing you're always looking for in athletes, and that's that factor, like the Mahomes factor, meaning they'll play at all costs. They just want to play the game. Like, there's certain special players like that. They go beyond the money, the fame, and everything else that actually like playing the game. It's really one of the biggest draft questions they have, at the Combine. They can't ask me questions they used to be able to at the Combine, but people always thought it was silly. Like, how much do you love the game? Because there is something to that. Like, how much do you love playing the game? Like Cal Ripken, that was at the Hall of Fame ceremony with that streak of consecutive games. Mm-hmm. That was somebody that wasn't going to sit out for a hangnail. That was somebody that wasn't going to sit out for the flu. That was someone that liked playing football. And there's certain guys are like this. Tom Brady was like that. He wanted to be out on the field all the time. Peyton Manning basically had to be forced probably to retire. I'm sure his dad probably got involved because that neck was getting so bad there that last year at the Broncos to pull him off the field. Mahomes is like that, and we'll talk about him, coming off that ACL and getting back. Some guys just want to play the game, and that's the hardest thing to look for when you're looking for a player. When you're going through the draft and you're deciding that franchise guy who's going to turn our franchise around is availability. Availability is a key, and to be the 1% and to make that 1% shine, to gain the respect of your teammates, the fans, and everybody else, you've got to be a guy on the field.
Sure, and Beltran attributed a lot to George Brett during his speech, but I think the one that I remember most clearly is he said something like, George Brett told him when he was young that greatness is made before anyone ever watches you play, or something like that, something along those lines. And that really stuck with him. And so, it was interesting to hear about his conversations with George Brett. Even, we're barreling down on probably a decade after Brett retired at this point that he's in Beltran's ear like this in the early 2000s, and how much it stuck with Carlos Beltran still at that time. So, and I'd expect him to go in as a Royal. I think the decision was correct to go in as a Met, but of course it's fun to see a guy you watch play in your hometown go into the Hall of Fame, just like it will be with Greinke and Salvador Perez and all those guys.
But the one thing cool about Brett was he was a Royal the whole time, and that's the thing with Salvi at this point, a Royal the whole time. Like, that stuff matters. I know guys float around like Peyton. He played for the Colts, but he played for the Broncos.
Would it be just Bobby and George, or excuse me, just Salvi and George at that point when he goes in? The only two.
It's so tough now for the Hall of Fame for guys that played in one place. With Beltran, because you had the Astros in there, you had the Angels, you had the Texas Rangers. There was a lot of organizations, that were mixed in there with Carlos Beltran, because you're not finding those. And the Cardinals mixed in there too. With Carlos. So I did watch the speeches. I did find myself watching. Even Jeff Kent. Jeff Kent was one of those guys I grew up watching as well. Mm-hmm. He was a complete red ass, when he was out there. He's all about business, is what he did. But interesting stuff. Glad you got a chance to watch some of that too. But I mentioned Mahomes and Mahomes being back and the Kansas City Chiefs about what makes you get excited. And I am curious, because we'll spend 7 to 8 really talking about camp and the camp battles. But I am curious what gets you excited about this team. What position group makes you sit back and think, all right, I like the Kansas City Chiefs. Like a Kirk Herbstreit that's picking the Chiefs, or the field, he took the Chiefs. What's getting you to that point? What about this team excites you? What about this team makes you worry? And then, of course, we'll talk about Patrick Mahomes and his quick impact with this team. We'll do that next.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
$30 million in guaranteed prizes you can cash in this football season out in Las Vegas with 3 Circa Sports contests. Entries starting at $1,000, all with zero rake. Circa Million, 18 weeks of point spread action, 128 ways to win. Or Circa Survivor. You pick one winner each week, the last one standing wins. And Circa Grandissimo with a $100,000 entry. Enter in Nevada. Play from anywhere. $30 million guaranteed. Visit circasports.com for details.
The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sports coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. From April to September, we'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a VIP package that includes tickets to a Royals game and more. Be part of honoring our high school coaches whose service is making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Just go to bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character to nominate today.
I scream. You scream. We all scream. Because Wendy's famous small classic Frosty is just $1 for a limited time. More screaming, happy screaming, summer screaming, dollar small classic Frosty screaming! But please don't scream in the drive-thru. It hurts the employees' ears. Get a $1 small classic Frosty for a limited time, only at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. A la carte only, not valid for delivery. Limit 10 per transaction. Price may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Tonight, expect a low of 80 with partly cloudy skies.
Weather brought to you by Capital One. Capital One offers no fees or minimums on checking accounts. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank guide. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Chiefs Kingdom. It's hot as hell, which can only mean one thing. We're putting Cody in gold in an outdoor tent. No water, no more snow cones. But you get to listen from an air-conditioned car or the comfort of your office. Cody and Gold are live from the practice field at Chiefs training camp all summer long. Real-time updates and one-on-one player interviews. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
So no practice tomorrow. Jay Binkley, Nathan Williams with you here on After Hours. Ron Cap from Arrowhead Pride in here. It's 7 o'clock, but no practice tomorrow. The weather's going to cool down too, I think. It's going to be in the 80s. It's going to be a freeze. Not a freeze, but much cooler. Isn't it funny that we get to that point where we're talking about the weather cooling off in the upper 80s, Nathan?
Yeah, everyone makes sure that you leave, the pipes dripping overnight and your cupboards open so nothing freezes. Yeah, it's going to go down about 20 degrees.
I think the dew point, whenever they're showing the map and they were showing all these areas and, there's Kansas City right there with the temperature. They mention all these other areas.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, Kansas City's sitting right in front of you nationally on the map. Mention it, but the dew point was the highest in Kansas City. Like the humidity was the highest in Kansas City. And you know what? As much as they talked about all the heat for the World Cup and everything when it was in Kansas City, it wasn't this damn hot.
No, the Saturday and Sunday and today too, but especially Saturday and Sunday, man. I mean, you even look outside and you're just drenched.
So Mac's wedding was this weekend. I know Bob and Dusty were there and everything. And they got there and then they realized it was an outdoor wedding. I mean, my feelings. I've gone over them plenty of times. My feeling on weddings, and especially during football season, which we don't have to get into that again because I've been in that a lot. But this is obviously the optimal time to go do it. But I'm not sure outdoors is. It's over 100 degrees unless you want a nice, smelly reception. Because I don't know about you, Nathan, but I would sweat in a shirt and tie outside. I sweat in shirts and shorts.
I've got to disagree
outside.
with the entire stance that it's the best time to do it because even if it's an indoor wedding, unless you are at some sort of venues that I don't get invited to, unless you are in an economic bracket that I'm not a part of, the venues are usually pretty cramped, pretty overfull. The AC is usually pretty weak, and it gets hot in there anyway, even if it's an
because
indoor
they control
ceremony.
the air conditioning,
So
and they're not just jamming it colder. It's tough. But do you prefer the heat or the cool, Nathan? I'm curious because do you prefer? Okay, this is extreme heat. So the extreme on the opposite end would be hovering around 0. Now that minus 30 wind chill they had for the Chiefs-Dolphins playoff game, that's kind of extreme, but so is this. It's kind of extreme. So I guess the opposite of this would be, if it's minus 5. Would you rather do minus 5 or would you rather do this crap?
Man, I think I'll take this. I would rather be cold than I would rather be hot, for sure. But -5, extreme cold is absolutely unbearable to me. Like I'm a guy, I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, I prefer winter over summer. I'm sure you are in terms of the weather. I still prefer the summer months and everything they bring. But this is not right for people who are shaped like me, who look like me, whose bodies operate like mine do. It has been a miserable couple of weeks.
It's also recency bias, which we see it all the time, right? You'll see it during Chiefs-Broncos game. People say, oh, it's the best game I've ever seen with the Chiefs and Broncos, right? Even though you can look through history and see 10 games better than that, but it's what was just on. And I often find when people are in the middle of the heat going, give me the cold. But then when it's going to be dog-ass cold, people are like, man, I'll take the heat any day. So you got to be more consistent. So are you saying that now, or do you really mean that? Because right now you're obviously going, I'll take the cold. And then when it's cold, you're like, man, give me that heat. But I'll be honest with you, I'll take that. If it's 10 degrees, I will take that much more than 90-degree heat. All day long, baby.
No, and I'm not. I mean, I would say you're the one that's doing what you just accused me of. You're saying you'd rather have the winter weather, and it's not what I'd rather it be summer than winter.
But Nathan, I stay consistent with this. I like the cold. I stay consistent with it. Because if you ask me in the winter when it's real cold, I'll say I'll still take this.
Yeah. And I think I'm saying that about this too. I think I would still rather take this. Not just sitting there, like if I'm in my house, just sitting there, hanging out. Would I rather be chilly or warm? I'd rather be chilly. Like don't get me wrong. Sure. I would rather not be sweaty. But extreme cold is it's for the birds, man.
Because I do sweat profusely. So 816 says 28-year mailman here. Thank you for doing that for 28 years. That's impressive.
Thankless job right there.
28-year mailman. Yeah, it is a thankless job. So thank you for putting in 28 years on
Absolutely.
that. Give me the heat any day. Takes longer to warm up than cool down the van. So it takes longer to cool. Well, if you have air, what if you didn't have air? What if the air's not working in the mail truck? I guess if the heat's not working in the mail truck, you got real issues too. But you don't hear about that as much. You always hear the air's out or something. You don't hear about the heat's out in as many vehicles, do you? You don't really hear the heat's out.
I mean, if the heat's out, your mailman or delivery driver is probably not showing up for work that day, I would assume, whereas they're probably chugging through a hot summer day if the AC is out. At least that's what I would, that's my, if it's -5 degrees and there's no heat in the vehicle, I don't need this job that bad.
Well, I remember my mom called me during this heat and said, are you hydrating? You hydrating? I said, well, I had a Gatorade earlier and stuff like that, and right now I'm drinking Coors Light. Does that count as hydration? Does me having a beer count as hydration, Nathan, or does that make me dry out faster? Do I need to mix in Gatorade with the Coors Light? That's the question.
They say in the winter that it warms you up.
Yeah.
Which is always something funny to me.
Because I did hydrate.
Alcohol's a cold beverage, and yes, I get what they're saying, but no, I think that's absolutely what the doctor would prescribe. Maybe 6 of them, 10 of them, right?
Yeah. So I would definitely take it. Now, as far as Mahomes, I heard you guys discussing that this morning, and Bob has pretty much been steadfast on this. He was like, oh, he'll be back. He'll be back. Just knowing who he is, because that's Mahomes. Remember when he dislocated his knee in Denver? He wanted to continue playing.
Of course.
And he did pick up the first down, by the way, too. It's the way he is. But, again, he's the type of guy you have to pull off the field. That's the guy that we've kind of always wanted to be in Kansas City. You want that guy you have to pull off the field, and especially when you give that money. Because sometimes money, when you give that contract to people, they kind of maybe not want to go all out sometimes, Nathan, but he does. And it doesn't matter. You could pay him $1 billion a year and it wouldn't matter. He'd still want to play. And that's the key. But I'm with Bob on that. I remember when it first happened, we're sitting there talking about going, I would not count. There's people you count out. You don't count that guy out. I mean, he wants to come back. Does it shock you? He had his surgery like the next day. Does it shock you at all that Mahomes is ready to play? It doesn't me. And there were 2 things that really stood out to me. And I know the national media is going, oh, he's been cleared to play and all that. Of course he is. Is he going to play by game 1? Because I know a lot of Twitter doctors and everything else trying to speculate when he's going to play or not. But when Monday Night Football in May puts that game out for the Chiefs and Broncos, don't you think they had a bit of an inkling that Patrick Mahomes is in that game? Don't you think they want to promote that game through August and early September to watch Monday Night Football? Because it's all about ratings. It's about television. They know that. Not having Mahomes in the game, they know. They're not going to have a Monday Night Football game without Mahomes in game number 1. So that thing right there, not that we didn't know he's going to play anyway, but when they put him on that, it's like, okay, he's going to play.
I don't think the NFL had any inside information. I don't think they had any word from Mahomes or the Chiefs that, hey, he's going to play or he's not going to play. I think it was just that stupid to think he wasn't going to play at that point in time. I think that's how bad of a take it was.
I think so. And the other thing, too, to me is, and I know some people believe it, some people don't. That's fine. But when Travis Kelce made his quick decision to come back to Kansas City, he knew Mahomes was going to be ready. At that point, you think, okay, is he going to be back in week 1, week 2, or week 3? But Jimmy's come back early. Because I don't think Travis Kelce comes back and plays for the Kansas City Chiefs if he's not playing with Patrick Mahomes. I'm serious. I don't think he comes back to play with Justin Fields to start the season. I think when he made his decision to come back, he knows he's going to be playing with Patrick Mahomes.
The day after the injury, immediately after the season ended, both here, some guys here, and a lot of guys nationally, the takes were flying off. Is the dynasty over because Mahomes is going to be out all next year? Will he be back in 2 years from now?
Yeah.
Or should the Chiefs trade for Tua Tagovailoa or go sign Jacoby Brissett to play the first 8 games of next season? Oh, they brought in Justin Fields. That means Mahomes is out till Thanksgiving. It was never. First of all, ACL injuries. People recover from these. I mean, a decade ago, Kyle Schwarber tore his ACL in April, was playing in October in the World Series. That's 6 months.
Well, the size makes it like Omar Norman-Lott. People are talking, is Omar Norman-Lott still anything left? Well, the thing with Nomar is he's heavier. It takes a lot longer to recover. ACLs are different with corners too, right? If you're playing corner, you're playing cornerback. ACLs are different with everybody, Nathan. And the thing with defensive linemen obviously being heavier, you're more the take that was the hottest though, Nathan, is that he faked it. Remember that? You see that wandering out with fan bases. Oh, he's back. He would like no. I'm sure he would be willing to show his surgery tapes to you or his X-rays. You know what I'm saying? That's funny. But people are going to say that about Daniel Jones as he's coming back from the Achilles, right? He's going to be ready game 1. Did Daniel Jones fake it? I mean, that was probably the silliest take I heard.
Yeah, of course. And just in addition to the, because you're right, everyone's body is different. But in addition to the accelerated timeline guys are recovering on this by, putting that with Patrick Mahomes, a guy who would have been out multiple weeks, if not put on PUP for a little while when he messed up his ankle against the Jags in the divisional round. But instead, he doesn't miss but a drive, comes back out and go wins a Super Bowl on that thing.
We've seen him play with the hurt ankle. We've seen him run on a hurt ankle. When guys would sit out, he played.
Yeah. And
we've seen him run in the Super Bowl with the bad ankle.
Guys do say, hey, it took me one full season until I feel right. So will he have complete and total confidence in himself mentally? Probably not for a full year. Will we see that in his play? I also don't think so. I think he's going to look like Patrick Mahomes, and for most of the time, he's going to look like Patrick Mahomes.
And most of the feeling around Kansas City was they were expecting it. They were paying their tickets and everything. They knew Mahomes was coming back. They knew he was. But I'll say this, Nathan, as far as the impact of it, Chris and I do the character concerns, where we look at the draft, and we look at the draft picks right now and how they're kind of getting acclimated to camp with the Kansas City Chiefs and their impact before next week, we can really start looking forward to 297 draft, to some of the position breakdowns. We do it every week, right? Who's playing who? We'll look at the game. Like if Texas playing Ohio State, you mentioned, who's going to be drafted in that game, who to watch, put on your watch list for those games. We do it on every game in college football. We look at it. But just the impact of what teams want in a quarterback. They want a guy that's going to inspire the younger players. How valuable do you think that is, having Mahomes with the rookies out there? The fact is, you've heard Cyrus Allen talk, and these guys talk about being a different game, and you're on Mahomes' time now. And tell me that doesn't make a difference if you're going out there and catching passes from a Jacoby Brissett or a Patrick Mahomes or a Garrett Nussmeier or a Patrick Mahomes. See, it makes a big difference having him on that field with those rookies.
Yeah, I think normally it wouldn't. I think things like when Pat did the Pat camp, I would say for many of the quarterbacks, it wouldn't really make that big of a difference. I think chemistry is slightly overrated. With a guy like Patrick Mahomes that extends plays in the way that he does, you've heard wide receivers talk, every wide receiver that comes in here, from D-Hop to Sammy Watkins that played with other good quarterbacks, then they play with Mahomes, and they say, oh, it took me a while to realize the play is not over. I've got to add another leg to this route and come back across the field because he's rolling.
We got to get that chemistry down.
So, but I think it's less of a route timing thing, which doesn't ever hurt to get, antiquated. Don't get me wrong, but I think Mahomes is a special case of guys need to, hey, I got to finish the play here, and that means something totally different from Mahomes than it does other quarterbacks.
Because he expects you to do other things. Like the route may be to a certain yard line, to a certain place, but if it's not there, he expects you to do something
you better run
different.
over your right shoulder.
That's what Kelsey does.
Rolling that way too. Yeah,
it's just like Wink Martindale once said. The Ravens' defensive coordinators, the play they call and the play they run. That's what they have. That chemistry, getting on the same page. There's something Rashee Rice does have with him as far as that ability when he's not open to break off the route and get open for Mahomes. It makes a difference. But having him out there with the rookies, I think, is valuable because they just see him and what he's gone through to get back on the field, the 7 hours a day he was putting in for rehab doing it. But that stuff goes a long way for the rookies, for the Kansas City Chiefs, just to see a guy like that with that kind of contract in that kind of heat in St. Joe busting his ass to get back on the field and win games. That stuff matters, man. And that stuff matters to those wide receivers. Didn't really get into what position group excites us the most. We'll do that when we come back. 913-586-7965. Why are you excited about the Chiefs in 2026?
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com
or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
DQ presents Being a Miracle Maker. July 30th is Miracle Tree Day. You buy a blizzard tree at participating locations, and DQ will donate $1 or more to Children's Miracle Network to benefit your local children's hospital. DQ, happy tastes good.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Look, let's be real for a second. When it comes to performance, good just isn't good enough, just like the teams that we cheer for, and that's exactly why Blue Chew raised the bar for you. Introducing Blue Chew Gold, the revolutionary 4-in-1 upgrade that targets both your brain and your body. Blue Chew Gold dissolves right under your tongue and starts working in as little as 15 minutes, so there's less waiting, more confidence, and a whole new level of readiness. And I've told you before, confidence is key. You know it the same as I do. Get started today at BlueChew.com and see why millions of men trust Blue Chew. Now, with a gold standard upgrade that's changing the game for good. It's not just about function anymore. It's about total performance, both physical and mental. They're turning bedroom performance into an Olympic sport, so go for gold. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. There's a special deal for you there. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code KFNZ. That's promo code KFNZ. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety info.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Day off today. Jay Binkley, Nathan Williams with you. Nathan will be in here 6 o'clock in the morning as well. Probably comes in a little bit earlier than that. So props to my man Nathan here. Text line loves him, by the way. They've been listening to Nathan in his weekend show. He's got over 1660. Nathan's been doing that for a long time. He's hosted this show. He did a few night shows. What was it, last week you did that, Nathan? Or was that 2 weeks ago?
It's a couple weeks ago. Yeah, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel here at 96.5 The Fan.
No, they're not.
I don't know what's going on.
They are not doing that.
Got the whole crew taking vacation.
They took the leash off and you're ready to roll is what's going on.
Hey, now.
That's what's going on, brother.
I appreciate that. It's been great.
We can't bottle this guy up much longer.
I'm feeling the love on the text line tonight, man. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Wait till you get over here more and they'll start hating you. It's what happens.
They do. Oh, yeah. I got called all sorts of. The producer, usually I get 1 or 2 negative comments a show. You know, most of the time they're like, hey, this guy needs to chime in more. This guy needs to chime in more. You guys don't let him talk enough. And then like 1 or 2 people are like, yo, he's stupid. When you're over there, it's more, hey, you suck than it is, you're right. So, yeah, it's interesting.
You know what happens, but they always like the night guys usually. And then you start doing days and stuff like that, which I've done.
Still their favorite.
I've done that because the nights.
Right.
And they know you at night, and they just got this kinship kind of towards the night. Then you go do the days, and then they may not like you at first because, you know, you weren't part of the group or you weren't there all the time. Or like me, I was on days a long time ago before, you know, just going to nights. And sometimes it's just funny with the kind of love you get in the evenings, Nathan. I think that you'll start to get that too.
I grew up listening to you on the day shift.
Don't
man.
say that.
I was in college. Grew up is relative, but when I was first driving around listening to sports talk radio, man, you were holding it down during the day.
Me and Vern yelling at each other, probably so. I asked what makes you excited about this team. I'll join you guys Wednesday as well. It's only something we kind of talk about in the mornings with you guys when you get on, but Chris and I were talking about that too. I am actually really excited to see what this running game can do. I'm really excited about Kenneth Walker. You think about big offseason additions, that was it. I would rather see wide receivers. I've made that clear that I want wide receivers in hopefully 2027. When Chris and I diagnosed the receivers, like we've been doing the last couple of years, hopefully this year there's a reason for it. Hopefully there's a reason for it. And we didn't spend a ton of time on Cyrus Allen. Obviously, we want to go a lot higher in the draft with wide receivers. Hopefully we get there. But I'm looking forward to this running game. We talked about DeMarcado and Emmett Johnson because people are going to like Emmett quite a bit. You know what Emmett's like? He's a lot like Mahomes. He's like the first guy there at practice. Walking down the hill, it's him. It's what he is. He's a gamer. He's one of those guys that loves playing football. That's a lot like Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the way that he carries himself. DeMarcado is a guy I don't think gets talked about a lot. He's a very good blocker. Like, that's one thing that he's very good at. He's honestly probably the best blocking running back that they have, which means he'll play, which means he'll play a lot on third down. Can you catch the ball out of the backfield? And can you block as that kind of last line of defense for Mahomes? He's a very good blocker in what he does. That's why he'll get on the field, because I've always thought Andy Reid, of course, he wants you to be able to capable running back. He wants you to be a good running back. But he wants you to block probably one and catch number two, run number three. And I don't think pass blocking will ever not be number one to Andy Reid. It's why Jet McKinnon was here all the time.
Yeah.
That's what they did is block, and then all of a sudden they unleashed him and they'd get all the touchdowns.
And by the way, Lance is showering you with love as well. You in the days with Witkowski and Henry Lake. That's the era I'm talking about, Bink. That was my show back in the day. I love that show. Yes, you got to be able to block if you're in Andy Reid's system, and that's because I always come back to this running back conversation with Ken Walker all offseason, and I'm talking about Mahomes has never had a primary downhill capable running back in his career. Never. Not since Alex Smith was here and Kareem Hunt was a rookie have the Chiefs had a guy like that. And then I start moving.
It's why he has to run so much and why he even talked about that he ran too much last year.
Right.
He did because he had to.
Oh, he's had to a lot of years as well.
They didn't have 120 yards rushing as a team, but he'd have like 40 of it.
Darrell Williams, I like cute. Damian Williams, awesome. Great job in the Super Bowl, man. They've had Pacheco, everyone loved him. Clyde, great guy. A lot of cute pieces. No legit running backs.
No legit.
But McKinnon, while he was not that downhill workhorse back, he would fit in 10 out of 10 systems in the NFL across time, especially in an Andy Reid system. He was invaluable as a pass blocker, as a catching back. The guy had so many receiving touchdowns. And look at the guy taking the slide at the 1 yard line in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, he had 64 carries last year. He only played 14 games, did Mahomes. His high water mark in rushing attempts for a season goes back to 2023. He ran the ball 75 times that season, but he played in 16 of the games for 389 yards. But he had 422 yards rushing last year. That's more rushing yards than he ever had in the fewest games, 14 games, and he had 422 yards rushing because he had to. He had to be a part of the running game. And I always say this when people say, well, is he going to be able to run as much with the ACL and stuff like that? It's not about that. You know what he ran at the combine? You know what his 40 time was, Nathan? It is not going to blow you away. It was 4.8. That was his 40 time at the combine. It was 4.8. And the guy put 4.22. But here's the thing. It's not about speed. It's about being smarter than your opponent. Remember Marcus Allen? Well, you probably have seen a lot of the clips of Marcus when he played for the Chiefs. Marcus had the ability to not take direct hits. He had the ability, he was such a good short yardage back because he would contort his body and turn, and he wouldn't take that high impact. He's the best running back I've ever seen doing it as far as not taking those direct hits. But Mahomes is just a smart runner. He knows when to fake you out on the sideline. Is he going to pitch it or not? But he knows, and teams are always worried about what the hell he's going to do. Because he will run over you, which he did against San Francisco a couple years ago. He's willing to run over you. He's willing to make you look silly if you give him a chance because he will lower his shoulder and run into you and knock you down. I think he likes it, to be honest with you. But, yes, run a few less times. That's why Kenneth Walker in the backfield will be fine. But the thing with Andy Reid will run the ball. I always hate to hear, well, Andy Reid won't run the ball. Andy Reid's had good running backs before. Andy Reid was also the coach when Kareem Hunt led the NFL in rushing in 2017. His rookie year, he led the National Football League in rushing yards. And, oh, by the way, Andy Reid was his head coach. So I don't want to hear the fact that Andy Reid won't run the ball because he will.
Yeah,
I'd like to.
Yes,
He's got an elite quarterback like Mahomes, but he has ran the ball.
And so I'm less worried about Mahomes scrambling from the aspect of him getting hit? Because it feels like, and this is I don't have data on this, feels like he gets hit more and takes worse hits when he's evading pressure and tries to hold on to the ball for a second too long and then throws off balance and leaves himself exposed and gets, pummeled in the middle of the air than I do when he's scrambling and trying to get a few extra yards. He's pretty heady with how he does that.
Yeah.
I don't like him running because the extra wear and tear on his body, but also a scrambling quarterback is not something to build your offense around.
Sure.
A Cam Newton, a Lamar Jackson, or Josh Allen, those guys are not scramblers. They are running quarterbacks. You can work. We're not devising runs for Mahomes, right? So can he extend on a third down, a third and long every now and then? Absolutely he can. Very valuable in the playoffs, but not a way to build an offense.
No,
even without the injury, they needed to fix this problem.
Last year he averaged 6.6 yards per carry. And keep this in mind, these aren't designed runs either. They're not like designed run for Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
He's doing it to evade pressure. He sees the hole in the defense and he runs. When a lot of quarterbacks, you look, there's design runs. Like there's design runs for Josh Allen. There's design runs for Lamar Jackson. Mahomes doesn't have, quote, designed runs. He just improvises when he needs to run because he's a very smart, headsy runner. And I'll say this too. And you're not going to see him a ton, but they love trick plays. And Justin Fields has more rushing yards in a season than any Chiefs running back does, including Kenneth Walker. Let's not forget that Justin Fields once went 1,143 yards rushing the football one season. He can throw and he can run, but don't sleep on the Chiefs using him either. He's also 6'3", 230 pounds. So he's got that. He's got the elite running ability as a quarterback, but he has a year where he ran for 1,143 yards, something Ken Walker has never done. So their leading rusher ever in a season, it happens to be their backup quarterback in Justin Fields. And if you think a guy 6'3", 230 that has a season running the football for 1,143 yards isn't going to run the football in certain situations, you're wrong because he is.
Yeah, I mean, I think there will be packages for Justin Fields installed. Do I think there's going to be a trick play? I hope not. I've heard that take from you and a couple of the other guys here. Bob and Dusty were giving it to me last week. More than I can see a trick play working, I can see something weird going on third and short, it getting blown up, and the entire text line saying, you got the best quarterback in football, let him throw it.
It's
or
going to happen.
You got the highest paid guard, one of the highest paid centers in league history, and you got the highest paid running back on the free agent market last year, run it up the gut. So I can see those meltdowns happening on a trick play. Now, does Justin Fields fit in this offense to some extent? Absolutely he does. I think he got wronged in Chicago. I think there is more in the tank than a lot of people give him credit for.
He actually had an MVP vote once when he was quarterback of the Bears.
I think he's a fine quarterback, and they can use him. Of course they can.
Here's the thing. Could it be a situation on 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 where Mahomes stays in the game? He just goes in motion. Then all of a sudden you have two quarterbacks in the game. Whether you want to do a double pass, there's just Andy Reid loves trick plays, and they love doing trick plays. And now they have a guy that can facilitate some of those. So,
but if you're going to pass the ball, my argument the next day after it doesn't work is going to be, why don't you just snap it to Mahomes, let him pass the ball? Why do you have Fields pass it to Mahomes, which could go wrong?
But the art of deception is big.
I know.
It's big. And not saying on a short yardage situation he couldn't run or pass, give him that kind of option. I just think they're going to use that size and speed and the fact he can throw the ball.
Ideas are fun.
Well as well. So anyway, we didn't get quite to Kirk Herbstreit's bold prediction. You're going to like this one because usually you don't. When someone nationally usually speaks with the Chiefs, you don't usually like it. You're going to like this one. We'll do that next.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
It's the summer sales event at Robside Ford. Your chance to upgrade without the stress. Robside joins me now. Rob, what's the offer?
0% financing, $0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on nearly the entire Ford lineup.
That's a serious summer deal.
Sure is. And unlike your brisket last weekend, these deals aren't dry.
Okay, that's fair. These savings are definitely juicy.
And we're backing it up with 2 years of complimentary maintenance, a non-commissioned sales team, and top trade-in values.
No pressure, no gimmicks at Robside Ford. The way car buying should be.
We're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 Google reviews, and a better experience from start to finish.
So skip the smoke and the dry meat. This summer, start at Robside Ford.
135th and State Line, or robsight.com. 0% financing, $0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 2 years of complimentary maintenance.
Robside Ford, buy right, drive happy. And next time, maybe stick to potato salad.
Fanatic Sportsbook makes every baseball game day this season hit harder. Swing for the fences with long ball jackpots. Just pick the player who hits the longest homer of the day to win a share of $50K in fan cash. Every day brings a new shot to win. Customers also get baseball profit boosts every game day. And your bets earn you fan cash, win or lose. To spend on merch, tickets, exclusive experiences, and more. Go deep this baseball season and download Fanatic Sportsbook today for the best baseball betting experience each and every game day. Fanatic Sportsbook. Winning hits different here. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MyReset. CT call 888-789-7777. MA call 800-327-5050. NY call 877-8-HOPE-NY. MD visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Offer not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatic Sportsbook app.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, no, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where 24-pack Crayola crayons are just 50 cents?
Staples has folders, notebooks, and pens at great prices.
I'm smiling from ear to ear.
It's the most wonderful time.
Mom, I missed the bus of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples, where school supplies start at just 25 cents. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit your local Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome back to After Hours. Jay Binkley, Nathan Williams with you. Ron Kopp to be in with the 8 o'clock hours. We look at Chiefs Camp 2026. Man, I wish we could just get the games going at this point. All right, Nathan, one thing I heard with you guys this morning, because there's always so much negativity, which is always fun, right? The naysayers, where the Chiefs are going to finish. I've even seen the Chiefs are going to be out of the playoffs. I've seen that hot take being floated around too. And, you know, the different polls that had Mahomes as the second best quarterback in the NFL or the fourth best and being behind Josh Allen. I'm like, well, just slow down. 7 of his 8 years starting, he's been to the AFC title game. Well, just if Josh Allen had in first 8 years of his career gone to the AFC title game, 7 years, 5 Super Bowls, they would be crowning him. He'd be sitting on a throne. They'd be throwing a bouquet at his feet. Same with Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, or anybody. But Mahomes gone 7 of 8 years to the AFC title game, and it gets forgotten. But trust me, any of these guys they want to put as the number one, who's never been to a Super Bowl. And he started as many games in the NFL as Mahomes has. Mahomes just made more of that, and he's 4-0 with even the playoffs, but that's a different story. How about Herbie? Curb Street. I love him for college football, man. I think he actually does a decent job on Thursday night on Amazon calling the games. But he was asked on McAfee if would he take the Chiefs or the field? This is the old Tiger Woods bet. Do you want Tiger Woods or the field? And surprisingly, Kirk's taking Chiefs, man. Taking the Chiefs or the field bet is what he would do. So you don't hear this kind of praise very often. The Chiefs or the field. Are you willing to do Chiefs or the field, Nathan?
Well, first of all,
would you be more willing to do it a couple years ago?
You know what Kirk Herbstreit's colleague at ESPN, Reese Davis, says about what the naysayers can do. But of course, it's going to be the Rams, and I'm taking any team against the field this year, but that's just not a smart bet at this day and age of the NFL. I'm not sure I would have taken it in any years with those Chiefs teams. Like, after the Tyreek Hill trade, I wouldn't have done it. Before the 11-6 season, where the defense turned into one of the best in the league, but the wide receiver room was completely inept, I wouldn't have taken them against the field that year. I'm a homer. I'm a fan. I thought the Chiefs were the favorites, the odds-on favorites in those years. Wouldn't have taken them against the field, though. Certainly not now, right?
That's a difficult bet in the NFL because so many weird things could happen. Just like, use an example all the time. Week 1's a liar. Like, people put so much stock in the week 1, like they do baseball too, Nathan, to some extent. But the NFL, it truly matters more. But the Raiders went on the road in New England and beat the Patriots. The Raiders picked number 1 in the draft. The Patriots ended up in the Super Bowl. That game was a liar. That game was a complete liar of what happened. That's just the NFL. Again, 23 or 25 years. Last 25 years, team didn't make the playoffs and wins the division the next year. So many things flip on their head to go a team or the field. I stay away from those. I do like the Chiefs' chances this year, yes, not saying that, but against the field, no. With the quarterback coming back from the ACL, I do think he'll play on week 1, but I still see some deficiencies with this team at the wide receiver position and a lot of youth and inexperience on defensive side. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? Absolutely, 100%. I think they will. But to say take the field, can't go that far. But I like when people like Herbie say these things, though.
Yeah, and they will be picked to go to the playoffs as the season gets closer. I'm going to have them as a 10 or 11 game winner. We'll see if it shakes out as I go game by game, if that means they're an AFC West champion or not. But Bink, about your stat that you love, we talk about this every year, 23 out of the last 25, a team that goes worst to first, right? Is that the stat? There are a lot of teams chalked to miss the playoffs last year and be competitive this year. Last year was upside down. The Bengals weren't in the playoffs. Chiefs weren't in the playoffs. Both of those teams have gotten better. The NFC East is absolutely wide open. The Giants are going to be a trendy pick to get into the playoffs. I think the Vikings are winning the NFC North. I've been on that train all summer. They weren't in it last year. The NFC South, any of those teams can win it. So you got a 75% chance that isn't the winner from last year. Like it could be a completely different landscape this January compared to last year.
Yeah, since 2002, 25 teams have gone from worst to first in their division in a single season. At least one team has won its division this season after missing the playoffs entirely in 53 of the 55 seasons since the AFL-NFL merger. You think the Chiefs would be number 1 on that list because they didn't make the playoffs at all to win their division next year, and they are the betting favorite to win the AFC West this year. But a lot of people still have the Broncos, we'll still have the Chargers, we'll still have these other teams doing that as far as the Chiefs. But going a field bet is very difficult. Even the Rams, I think that's a field bet too, because you can almost put an all-star team together, and we've seen this happen in the NFL all the time, and then they just find a way to collapse. Even though if you get Aaron Donald back, go with Myles Garrett, it's almost like too good to be true. There's going to be some team, and they'll have that game where they're just not firing on all cylinders, and they'll lose in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching football since the early 2000s. I'm trying to rack my brain to think what team I would have taken against the field before the season. I mean, maybe the 07 Patriots. But a lot of these other teams,
the one that went
great,
16-0, but they found a way to lose in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying it would have hit, but I'm talking about going into the season, like the Rams, again, like the Chiefs have been for the last half decade. Odds-on favorites. But they're by far and away the best team in the NFL on paper. By far and away. Of course, they're the favorites, but against the field, it's insane.
There's too much parity.
High praise from Kirk Herbstreit, though.
Yeah, high praise from Kirk Herbstreit, but too much parity in the league. It's the way it's set up. Everybody's got the same salary cap. That's why the Chiefs, holding a grip on winning 9 straight division titles is so remarkable, considering everybody's basically playing with the same playing field. You're still drafting the same 256 guys out of the combine. Yeah, there's some undrafted free agents to make it and stuff too. But unlike baseball, when your template is high school, college, JUCO, you name it, the NFL guys are just right there at the combine in Indy, and you can watch them and put them on your board. And the Chiefs have a lot of experience because they had a board with the top 100 guys, and 25 guys they had to remove from it because they went back to college. So they got a leg up on those 25 going into the season because they saw them play a year ago. So that stuff is helpful. Ron Kopp comes in, and by the way, text in your questions as well, 913-586-7965. Ron is running AP now, and always good to get his opinion on his stuff as we use his articles quite a bit when it gets the temperature of Chiefs fans out there. But 913-586-7965 is the J Southland Tow Service text line. Also, the phone numbers. Ron and I will dissect the Kansas City Chiefs in 2026 training camp with Nathan as well. Next.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and you know baseball's back. BetMGM, the official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the high heat all season long. All season long, you can log into the BetMGM app and receive top-tier promos that put you in the batter's box and up the excitement for America's pastime. Step up to the plate all season with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing could score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boosts, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat and every inning with MLB same-game parlay boost. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, lock in bigger value with MLB odds boost tokens and MLB parlay boost tokens all season long. More boosts, more swings, more chances to win. Download the BetMGM app and step up to the plate today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, it's Brew. And between my radio show, filming content, editing videos, and trying to stay connected with family, reliable Wi-Fi isn't really optional anymore. I just need it to work. And that's why I like that with Xfinity, you get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years, guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, Xfinity makes getting connected simple with same-day Wi-Fi so you can get online in minutes. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that.
Hi, it's Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Be a part of history by attending Chiefs training camp in St. Joseph, Missouri this summer and see the Chiefs up close. Make the trip to St. Joe something for you and your family to remember. Go to stjomo.com to view or download a free visitor guide and plan your trip. It's where the Pony Express started and Jesse James ended. That's stjomo.com for all the details to make your trip. Chiefs Training Camp in St. Joseph, Missouri will be one you'll never forget. Produced in cooperation with Visit Missouri.
The world's game at BetMGM is here. Bet on the soccer showdowns with 2-up early payout so that if you're up 2, BetMGM will pay you. That's right. Place a pre-game straight match results bet on any tournament game. If at any point your team is up by 2 goals, you'll instantly win your bet. Then enjoy BetMGM same-game parlays, daily promotions, player props, and so much more for the world's game. Don't miss your shot at an early win with 2-up early payout to get paid out if at any point your team is up by 2 goals. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older. This promotional offer not available in Ontario, Pennsylvania, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. Available in the U.S. For New York, 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. New and existing customer offer, subject to eligibility requirements. Additional terms and restrictions may apply. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel, must be present in a state where it's legal to wager.
This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Seven o'clock hour, Jay Binkley, Nathan Williams producing the operation because Nathan's here mornings, nights. The dude's like U.S. mailman. Rain, snow, sleet, 116-degree heat index, whatever the hell it is today. And Ron Kopp from ArrowheadPride.com, longtime friend of mine, going back to the days of calling his high school football games, believe it or not. Yeah. I texted Alex the other day and I said, I called several of Ron's games, and I called a game where he threw 6 interceptions. His completion percentage, Nathan, was very good that game because six of them went to the other team.
The ball wasn't hitting the ground.
So it wasn't hitting the ground. It was either his guys or they
No, the worst part about that was it was a low-scoring loss. So, like, it's not like it happened in a blowout. Like, that would have been fine.
You were trying, man.
That would have been fine.
You were trying to matriculate the ball.
No, we had a nice opening drive, went down in the red zone. We had a slant that I had to kind of get off structure. My receiver read it. The guy who played, Garrett Prince, shout out, he was on the Chiefs practice squad for a couple of years, won a Super Bowl with them.
Well, hell, you have no excuse
threw a touch. Yeah, I know. That was even worse, right? No, Lathe East. Shout out Lathe East. They had a good defense that day. They had a great game plan that game.
But now Ron's running AP, and, of course, Ron's a big part of our draft stuff we do on the character concerns when we move it over and do some 3-hour radio shows leading up to the draft. Before that, Ron comes in because he goes through all the picks. He goes to the Shrine game as well. He does his homework, and he's got a lot of homework to do in the 27 draft because Chris and I were looking at the rookie impacts for the Chiefs and how they're doing in training camp so far since it's rookie camp up there right now, and they're practicing it, but we're switching to the 27 watch list here next week, Ron. We're going position by position. So we're making that switch here in the beginning part of August for the 27 draft.
Well, I don't know about y'all, but I'm getting my 2027 studying done through playing college football 27. I've been dabbling in that so far. Well,
you start early. You start to see these guys that we get something to talk about. When a lot of times, guys will have seen them for a month or something or heard about them.
Right.
But you saw them play. You saw them play week in and week out. And you make your decisions when they're playing against good competition.
It's nice to lay the groundwork before the season starts because those college games are just fun to watch, man.
Yeah,
those big college games. And so when you actually have an idea of that guy could be a pick next year.
And these playoffs are ridiculous because you see them play good competition because the draft picks will play.
Yeah.
And that's been the hardest thing with a lot of
the bowl
games because they opt out of it. But with the playoffs,
it's even.
You watch Ohio State game, there's 12 guys there that's going to be drafted.
Well, there was plenty of examples of that last year with the Miami team.
Miami was loaded up and down off
those guys. I liked a bunch of those guys, yes.
Usually I don't mind if guys go back to school. I think it's actually good for them. I understand it because you're getting all that nil money to go back. And if you're a third-round pick, you'll make probably more money in name, image, and likeness than you would for third-year contracts. The one I don't like to see is when running backs go back because then they're taking an extra 300 carries. And we have seen that a few times with running backs go back, and it doesn't make sense. We'll talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, unfortunate news with Eric Bieniemy and his family, and the way Nathan and I kind of left it, it's a terrible deal. His wife was shot. He went and took care of that situation. So however long he's gone, you understand that's life, and that's what happens. It's
glad she's in stable condition.
That's something you deal with, and you make a contingency plan, and you move on as long as EB, has things in order because it's going to be a hard trip for him at this point. Now, you, on the other hand, you're going to go up to camp Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
When it's much cooler. It's going to be in the 80s. I think 86, 87.
So. Golly.
Today was, those rookies had to be loving this weather. But the thing is, it's like most of the country's hot. It's not like zeroed in on St. Joe, Missouri, but it's like hot everywhere, man.
I don't know. Late July, early August is just it is just the stickiest it gets here. Just the heat.
Andy does practice in the mornings too. Keep this in mind. When Haley was here and stuff, and even Romeo, they practiced in the afternoon.
No, it's so much worse in the afternoon.
Yes,
so much.
They did. Yeah, and Andy loves mornings, so he looks out for everybody.
No, it actually feels great when you're walking up to the first practice, or to your practice in St. Joe, right? When you're walking the path to get to the field, it actually feels great because you haven't hit that insane heat yet. That starts about 9-10 once the sun really gets out. No, I'm excited for Wednesday. Season ticket member exclusive day. Thursday is the day that kind of gets open for everybody. But we've only seen the rookies and the quarterbacks.
And pads will be this weekend. Everybody will play, and then the pads will come on this weekend.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's when it really gets going.
That's where we're just getting a taste. The lineman one-on-one drills and everything. Right. It's so fun.
Because we've heard about guys like at the right tackle position, Khalil Benson, the rookie tryout, or even, obviously Issa Pohl played last year, but Chu Godric, even at right tackle. Yeah, we're going to really see if that actually was was something to think, or was that Andy Reid just kind of trying to let a finder Jalen Moore, Issa Pohl?
Yeah.
So you mentioned those guys. We're going to find that out when the pads get on for sure.
816 says the 2011 Staley Falcons are the best football team in Metro history. Bink doesn't like to admit it. No, I called that game against Lisa West. Evan Bain was in that game. Trent Hosick was the quarterback for Staley. I saw Staley win that game. It was one of the best high school football games I ever seen.
Yeah, Missouri football definitely outclasses. I mean, it did, at least in my time. I don't want to speak for now. I haven't kept up if Kansas has gotten any closer to Missouri football.
I saw that game. Text line, so don't worry about that.
I will say the Sunflower League shout out. Braden Smith. He's Texans right tackle now. He's got another contract. I played against him at Late the South. He was
Braden.
He looked like the Incredible Hulk out there in the field. Sunflower League. We've got some guys.
Best high school player I ever saw in the Metro though was Darren Sproles.
Oh yeah, big time.
Just because when he was in youth football, he'd be moved up levels even above his grade because he was just so good. But he was so dominant when he played. And another guy who never won a state title, but he's in the top 5 easily for best high school players I've ever seen. That's Bubba when he was quarterback at Gardner. Because literally, every game we'd call, he'd take from the quarterback position, he'd take off on like a 70, 80-yard run right there at the beginning.
No, I was the kid reading the Kansas City Star.
Marvin Dieter, his coach, said he's the fastest guy he ever had, even though he had all those great, like Terrence Newman, all those guys out in Salina.
No, I was a kid reading the Kansas City Star on Saturday morning for the high school, and 300-yard rushing yards for. I was like, "What the heck? Who is this guy from Gardner?" Yeah, no, he was. I wish he would have played college football. It'd have been fun to see him.
Oh gosh,
play Nebraska or something.
That's one thing I really miss. Is him not playing that. But as far as rookie camp is concerned, because that's kind of wrapped up now as it is, I think there's a huge impact with Mahomes being out there. Not only clear to play, obviously, it's a big emotional lift for everybody that's out there in the team, but just for those rookies, to be sitting there and sweating and, like a Peter Woods or a Mason Thomas, look over there on the other side of the field and see, Mahomes is out there, or Cyrus Allen catching passes from Mahomes. It's like, here's a guy with a $500 million contract, a guy that's won 3 Super Bowls, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time NFL MVP, and he's out there in that heat with you, and he's out there. I just think that it's like an emotional lift for even these rookies. Like, wow, that's pretty cool.
No, that's a good point. I mean, with the ACL recovery, does he have to be on the field right away? Could he, does he have to push?
But they
it that
see
much?
what it takes to be an NFL guy. Like they see what it takes for all the effort he did, like 7 hours a day of rehabbing and coming back from an ACL. Like they see firsthand what can happen in the NFL. Not these guys don't know from playing big time college football as far as ACL injuries. But when you see an elite quarterback over there with that contract, with the accolades that he's got out there with you at 116-degree heat, boom, that's a lift.
Well, and that wouldn't have happened if they would have kept the status quo from the last couple of years. Maybe it was just last year where they switched it up. They kind of all of a sudden had everyone report at the same time, Chiefs training camp.
They switched it up and didn't do that.
Yeah, and I don't remember if it was the last 2 years or just last year. Anyway, they made it back to, where the rookies and quarterbacks report early. And so, honestly, I think it gives Mahomes a chance to kind of warm up a little bit with the rookies. To your point, I think it gives Cyrus Allen a chance, someone that is competing for that 4th receiver spot with like Jalen Royals, Nico Remigio. They're not there. They're not getting those reps with Mahomes, kind of first. I mean, he's the number 1 receiver out of all the receivers there. Cyrus Allen is in terms of the rookies. I mean, Andrew Armstrong has been, I know a guy that's been around a little bit. But all that to say, I think Cyrus Allen has definitely made an impression too. There, I think Saturday he made a touchdown catch in red zone 7-on-7 that was – that Nick Jacobs has pointed out as pretty nice, and I think Cyrus Allen's definitely someone who's taking advantage of that. To your point, with only rookies there. I mean, shoot, rookie receivers aren't historically asked to do a ton in the Chiefs' offense, right? Well, shoot, Jalen Royals a second-year receiver, but it's his first year with the coaching staff, right?
Yep.
I mean, he didn't do anything last year. I think Allen is just as in that line as Royals.
There's no better place to be drafted. What about you, Nathan? Any rookies before we move on after the break to the offense? Any rookies that you're like, man, I can't wait to see this guy play?
In the sense of like a camp darling preseason sense? Yeah, absolutely.
Not just a darling or whatever. Just the rookie that you can't wait. Maybe Peter Woods is a guy you can't wait or our Mason Thomas, just any of the rookies that you're like, man, I can't wait to see this guy.
Because I am interested to see how Cyrus Allen and Emmett Johnson fit into the offense, but I wouldn't not the question you asked, I wouldn't project anything large from them in their rookie campaign. I made this point earlier today, Bink. I think Mansour Delane is underrated by this fan base, and that sounds crazy because they're expecting a number 1 cornerback right away. I think he's going to instantly be in the very upper echelon of cornerbacks, and just that his mindset this weekend and when he spoke to Nate Taylor was just more and more increasingly evident. Saying things that you hear from like insane guys who have dominated for a long time and still act like they're no good. Like, sure, I might have had a good rep here, but I like the ones that are bad because then I get to learn. or they drafted me here, so I better perform like I was drafted here. He made comments along those lines. And does talk mean his play is going to be good? I don't know, but I'm fired up about that guy. Fired up about him.
I like what I heard from him in terms of he was saying, it's hard for me to turn down the aggression, right? It's hard for me to, turn down the physicality, I guess. And Andy Reid kind of alluded to the fact that that's maybe a reason he's in the non-contact jersey. Maybe some of that had to do in the OTAs. Maybe he was a little too aggressive and hurt his shoulder that way.
He'll probably be out of that real soon.
Yeah, right. I think that's a great thing to hear from a rookie. And so, if he's got that mentality already as a rookie, that's what you want to hear from your number 6 pick. You don't want to hear, someone who's maybe not, willing to be physical, aggressive in practice.
Well, my favorite draft pick 2 years ago.
Because that's a Spags corner is physical aggressiveness.
My favorite draft pick 2 years ago was Noah Williams, that
Yes.
Obviously, we doing all the draft show. And this year was Jaden Kennedy. That was the one guy we had mocked, the only guy we got right. But Jaden Kennedy, I love because it's kind of like Honey Badger Light. He can play. He started at safety in the league. He's been playing only nickel here for the Chiefs through rookie minicamp. Pass breaks up, picks. I mean, not going to make a huge emphasis because it is, not, no contact or whatever. But the guy did make an impression early on with the Chiefs. That's who he is. That's who Jaden Kennedy is.
Well, I think the cool thing about Kennedy, which Delane is too, where he's got the coverage stats, right? He's got a good coverage profile. So does Kennedy. Kennedy's got a great coverage profile. I mean, whether maybe he needs to work on, being a sound tackler at all times, being able to fill in the box and really be that nickel defender on early downs. Like, that's a whole nother thing. You can't teach the coverage instincts that I think guys like Noel Williams and Kennedy both have, which I think is kind of the right way to go about it if you're drafting defensive backs. Like, hey, we can teach guys to really maybe be consistent in their tackling, consistent in their filling the, and how good they are pressing. But man, you can't teach that instinct when the ball's in the air or, when the ball, when someone's running with the ball, making plays. I think Kennedy has that when the ball's in the air, and so does Noel Williams. And so this team needs more interceptions, needs more turnover, right? Turnover luck, and you kind of create your own turnover luck by having players that kind of, like a Tyrann Mathieu, like to your point. I mean, he was the ultimate create your own turnover luck by making plays. It'd be nice to see if guys like Noel Williams and Kennedy can kind of help the turnovers increase for the defense moving forward.
Noel Williams led the nation in interceptions his last year. It was 7. The guy has 14 interceptions back when he was in college. He is a ball hawk.
That's a lot.
If you give him, 14 when he's at Nevada, Reno. Or Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV, before he went to Cal.
Underrated. He led the team in pass breakups last year. He tied with Trent McDuffie for the most, or Jalen Watson, one of the two. He was tied for the team lead, and he was in a very limited role last year. So
that was a hell of a Cal team.
He gets the hand on the ball.
You had Jade Knott on that team, who's on the Chiefs. Here's an undrafted guy for the Chiefs. Led the Pac-12 in rushing when he was at Cal. Fernando Mendoza was there.
Mendoza,
Look at that team,
national champ.
You got a team that the Cal had all the talent they had that everybody else somewhere or been drafted. Ron Kopp's in studio with us now. We'll come back. We'll look at the Chiefs' offense and some of the position battles that we will see. The roster's pretty much set on offense, but there will be some position battles. We'll talk about those next.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
DQ presents Being a Miracle Maker. Making a difference in your community has never been easier because July 30th is Miracle Treat Day at DQ. You buy a blizzard tree at participating locations and DQ will donate $1 or more to Children's Miracle Network to benefit your local children's hospital. So on July 30th, buy a blizzard tree and be a miracle maker, a blizzard eating hero, doing their part on Miracle Treat Day. July 30th. DQ. Happy tastes good.
It's Telly Tire and Auto Center summer sale. Buy 4 new Continental tires and save up to $350 with instant mail and rebates when you add installation, road hazard protection, and wheel alignment. Hurry. Offer ends July 31st. Take it to Telly. Details at tellytire.com.
I hope you're sitting down. The ACA Marketplace has announced significant increases on monthly premiums with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Matt B. and KC at BBS Insurance's Freedom of Choice plan now. You don't have to wait. Their plan lets you use any doctor, has 0 outpatient deductibles, and it's 30 to 60% lower costs than most Obamacare plans. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you are a small business owner or pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, Call Matt B. in KC for an instant quote over the phone at 816-205-4664. That's 816-205-4664. Or go to bbsinsurance.net. That's bbsinsurance.net. They will customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
Hi, I'm Carter.
And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack.
Jack had a home he needed to sell fast.
And Jack thought he had it all figured out.
So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers.
Jack chose the highest offer.
But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out,
leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do.
Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer.
Jack got suckered.
Make sure you aren't hung out to dry.
Call our dad at Rex Buys KC.
Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals.
No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises.
Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process.
Now, don't be like Jack.
Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special both for you and your partner. At Heartland Men's Health, we take great pride in providing excellent care and treatment options for ED. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no two cases are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Congratulations, Salvador Perez.
Swing and a ball well hit. Left field, way back and gone. He's done it. Salvador Perez, number 318 in his career. He's now the Royals franchise leader in home runs.
The Royals all-time home run leader plays right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
Welcome back after our Jay Binkley, Nathan Williams, Ron Kopp. No, but that's funny because all the Cal guys, dude. All the Cal guys that, and then he fired their coach, of course, and everybody leaves. But Jack Indries was there.
Yeah, he was a true freshman that year. That he had 1,200 all-purpose yards
Nott,
in the
Williams.
Pac-12.
They were absolutely loaded. So right now, you could pretty much nail the starting lineup for the Chiefs on offense. I mean, we think there's a lot of position battles. There really isn't. Left tackle Simmons, then you got Kingsley, then you got Creed, then you got Trey Smith.
Right tackle is Andy Reid trying to get a fire under a veteran.
And right tackle would be the only one that would be sort of a position battle at this point. It's clearly Jalen Moore at this point, but Asa Polle sitting there, Chew Godric, Khalil Benson that you brought up in the beginning. Interesting guy being an undrafted. He was a UDFA that wasn't even brought in as a UDFA.
Yeah.
He had to sign with the Chiefs as a camp body before their rookie camp. Those guys that go out there and they sign guys here and there like Diego did with Baltimore. He just got cut yesterday.
Well,
but
Cooper McDonald was that last year for the Chiefs.
But guys that try to that are camp bodies that get signed by teams. But Khalil Benson, what's interesting about him is he really showed up on the spotlight is when Andy Reid talked about him individually.
It's Andy. Andy is
that doesn't happen with
cooked all this up.
It doesn't usually happen with rookies, drafted guys anyway. I mean, you're not going to talk about them until you've proven something. But they've all talked about Khalil Benson and where he's going to figure in with the Chiefs. I can't say, all right, he's going to win the job at right tackle. He's got a long way to go before that. But I think Jalen Moore clearly at this point, and I know Asa Polle is the guy they really like, but he's more of a left tackle. It's what he did at college, what he did last year with the Chiefs. Who's going to be that swing guy? Like if something happens to Simmons and Jalen Moore has to go to the left side, who's going to be right side at that point? But that truly is the only good position battle because we know who the starting running back is. You know who the tight end is. You know that Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice and Tyquan Thornton are your 1, 2, and 3 out there at wide receiver. So really, from wide receiver 4 on in the starting right tackle are the positions we'd be looking at.
Yeah.
To be a battle.
Well, and I will say with right tackle, Benson is interesting because he's 6'8". He's got a great wingspan, great big hands, had a great athletic profile in terms of testing.
And won a national title.
It is kind of surprising that he wasn't, signed at that point. And so I'll give him that. But yeah, I really feel like that's, Jalen Moore hasn't been a full-time starter going into any NFL season so far in his career. He's a veteran. He was an understudy to Trent Williams for 4 years in San Francisco, came over here, was an understudy right away, right? Was never promised a starting job last season. Maybe thought so before they drafted Josh Simmons, but that turned quickly.
All that tight end in college, so he showed that versatility. They moved in the tackle, but he came as a tight end.
Yeah, well, and so all that to say, I really think that's lighting a fire under him. So that's one thing. I'll say this: running back is interesting after Kenneth Walker a little bit. Like, can Emmett Johnson be the third down back over DeMarcado right away? Because I think something that Johnson is underrated, in terms of what he showed at Nebraska, is he can be a pass down back. He can be a guy you can throw to, have reliable hands, make plays after the catch. I think he's experienced enough where, maybe he can show up and pass block.
Yeah, Chris, I talked about before, that is the knock on him, though, the pass blocking.
Yeah.
Where DeMarcado, that's actually one of his strengths.
Right, and every rookie's going to have that to an extent, right?
Sure.
Like where you have that. But you can tell
But I'll say this, though, he is the first guy to show up. He's one of those guys, a gamer.
Yeah, I think a lot of pass blocking is willingness. But again, to an extent, you got to know what you're doing too. And NFL,
but
NFL
blocking for a 30-year-old
coming
coming off an ACL is priority.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And so with DeMarcado, like he's an explosive back, a guy that makes sense to have that third down back role because when like on a draw or like a screen pass, like he is the type that could all of a sudden take it for a 50, 60-yard play.
Sure.
And so that's why I like him in that role. But man, Emmett Johnson did fall to them, and he is a playmaker, and he's just someone that the Chiefs fans are going to really get behind. And so DeMarcado is going to have to really perform to kind of, stay on the right path. They have a lot of running backs behind them too, where, yeah, I don't, I honestly should know DeMarcado's, how much guaranteed money he has in his contract, but shoot, they have enough young running backs where if they all perform, could DeMarcado be a surprising cut at the end of it, if he's not, showing out.
I think his pass blocking kind of sets him apart, like a Jet McKinnon type. And Emmett definitely too.
Underrated point. Yeah.
You think about these running backs, and I love the stable of backs they have, but they can also withstand injuries. Like, because there's such a full play. And the funny thing is, Chris and I were laughing about it before, even like the practice squad type guys. Like if a Jay Nod will be in the practice squad or an E.J. Smith, in areas like that. Just how in a Brashard Smith still with the Kansas City Chiefs. So all this talent that won't be on the roster, and you got to keep them from getting poached by somebody else's 53-man roster because they can poach your practice squad guys, or who's going to be the candidate for the mysterious injury of a hamstring, at the end of camp.
Yes, I know, right? And goes on IR for the whole year, and then we don't see him until next year. Yeah, and I will just say this too, keep in mind, I don't know if I love this idea, Jay, but Kareem Hunt is still a free agent. I mean, this team did excel in short yardage and, goal-to-go situations last year, running the ball, because he was pretty dang good at those things. Do they have that guy on the roster right now where you feel good about 3rd and 2, 4th and 2, 4th and 1? Like, boom, we're just handing it off downhill football. Like Kenneth Walker should be that. He's your lead back. He's your feature back.
Or DeMarcado is over 220 pounds too. And so,
man, is he really? Wow. Is he a big back like that? Yeah. No, he's just got that explosion. You think of him as maybe so he could be.
He was like 7 yards a carry guy too. I mean,
right.
He was. He's at 5'9", 215, but he fluctuates about 220. So it's a bowling.
I did not realize he was that large.
That's Nile Davis level of.
He's a bowling ball type. DeMarcado is, but
whatever I think of those guys, Nile Davis, where he can just rip off a 70-yard run, but he could just run over your face.
But he averaged 7.1 yards per carry. Now it was only 312 yards, but he's a battering ram.
Right. Well, and I feel like whenever you think of DeMarcado, like if you're a fantasy football player, like over the last few years, you just think of him on, oh wow, that guy just had a 70-yard touchdown run real quick or a long run. Yeah, no, he's someone I was excited about when they signed him.
He got yelled
for
at
sure.
for dropping the ball before.
Yeah, and that was a long touch. Should
it's
have
like
been
a 70-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, he's more infamous for that for anything. But yeah, the running back position just overall is really exciting in my opinion because even a guy like Brashard Smith, we saw when he gets the ball in his hands and he's in the open field. I mean, they were getting him the ball on quick screens, on little middle screens last year, delayed screens. Like there is something there. I do think, maybe having better coaching staff this year at the running back, with Bieniemy and DeMarco Murray coaching him up.
And that's what interested me there about Jade Knott because Jade Knott was he led the Pac-12 in rushing.
As a true freshman.
Back when it was a full Pac-12 before everybody left, right?
Yeah.
And he did, but he goes to Oklahoma. He barely got on the field.
Right, and there was talk about him and Murray butting heads.
And then all of a sudden, DeMarco Murray's here, but Jade Knott ends up here. Jade Knott goes to the Senior Bowl and was one of the standouts there. Wasn't invited to the Combine, which isn't the biggest issue because, Cyrus Allen with the Kansas City Chiefs wasn't invited to the Combine.
Yeah.
But he was drafted. Jeff Caldwell, who everybody's going to love, is going to be a camp Justin Ross for the Chiefs. Went to the Combine, but wasn't drafted.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting deal. So you don't always have to be that. But Jade Knott is here for a reason. Clearly, DeMarco likes him or he wouldn't be here.
Well, part of the Senior Bowl standout thing, too, was that he was showing out in pass protection drills, I remember. Jade Knott was. I wasn't at the Senior Bowl, but I just remember that being a talking point. And so as we're talking about DeMarcado, that really is a key skill to have if you're one of these non-Kenneth Walker backs. If you can show you can pass protect, that's going to really go a long way in training camp, especially, with protecting Mahomes being a really key part of this year overall, right? Just keeping him, off the ground.
And the interesting thing is with Rashard, because I do think he's got a better chance, I think, to make this team as a receiver going back to that instead of running back. But obviously he's an explosive player because he shows the explosiveness. And clearly that one year he had running the football at SMU, he had 1,300 yards rushing. All right, so what did he do at Miami as a receiver, true receiver? 14 catches freshman year, big deal. It's just, first year out of box. Next year, he had 33 for 308. So he got on there, got 33 catches. Then it went down to 22 for 263 before he transfers to SMU. But that is his natural position. And he did have, 25 catches last year for the Chiefs out of the backfield. A lot of those on swing passes in near line of scrimmage. But he showed the ability to catch the football.
No, I have a cut up from last year where a lot of his plays he wasn't lined up as, it was technically 21 personnel, right? Where there's two running backs on the field, one tight end, but he was just a slot receiver technically, kind of being that move receiver going in motion and getting the ball off of that. And that's a receiver. I mean, that's that in those formations
dude has talent.
Right. And so they're going to try to, look at the kick return specialist position. I mean, if you can kind of get him to be the kick returner and punt returner, you're kind of helping your roster at the running back, the back end of the running back and receiver positions, kind of giving you an extra spot if you don't try to split that up. I feel like the last few years they've been splitting that up a little bit where Remigio's getting, the punts, but, kick return can be a few other guys. Why can't it just be one guy and then you're really helping your roster? And I think Brashard Smith could absolutely be that.
Because we saw that uptick in the kick returns now a little bit different.
Right.
His last year at Miami, he had 20 kick returns for 579 yards, a 29-yard average. Which plays.
Did he score?
And he hit a touchdown.
Yep.
A kick return touchdown. But that led the ACC, the 579-yard kick return. So he does have experience as a kick returner.
Yeah, and you see it, man. You see it. He's got that explosiveness, but also the wiggle, where it's not just linear, and you can kind of, that's what it takes. You got to be explosive, but also be able to not be too linear, where you can change direction real quick and take a 20-yard return into a touchdown return. I mean, we need more of those big plays on special teams this year.
All right, so fellas, we all in agreement Jalen Moore will win the right tackle position? Not that we know, but what he's saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, look, for the future of the position, I'm interested in all of the Khalil Benson hype that you want to throw out there. Maybe it is a swing tackle debate this year. That doesn't really interest me all too much, but next offseason, this wide receiver room needs significant attention, even if they were to pay a Rashee Rice, which I can't fathom at this point in time.
We going to be on the same page, Nathan, then?
I think so.
We're going to sing Kumbaya.
I think so. About the wide receivers?
Yes.
Yeah. I was on Jordan Tyson watch.
I know you were.
On that first night of the draft there, man. That was my guy.
I've been on wide receiver island here.
That'd be fun.
But two positions that I think I assume are important next offseason, but could be fixed this season, are right tackle and then the edge starter across from Karlaftis. Are you happy with a Gelati or a Khalil Benson or an R. Mason Thomas, how those guys develop? But I can't imagine Jalen Moore not winning the starting right tackle job this year. I would agree with you, Ron, about it pushing a veteran more than anything.
And he's got money in a contract to worry about for next year. There's certain guys you look at and said, this is a money year for that player because, as my friend Trez Paylor used to say, contract year's undefeated. And Rashee Rice is a number one for a guy that has to perform. The Chiefs are lucky because they got a guy that has to perform because this is his livelihood. If he wants a contract in the NFL, because he didn't get the endorsements and everything else with what happened to him. But this is his year to perform, to get paid, because it's not going to be any better than being in the system where you're the number one receiver on a team loaded to go with the Hall of Fame quarterback and a Hall of Fame coach and a Hall of Fame tight end to take attention from. Like, if you can't do it here and now, you can't do it anywhere, my friend. Yeah. So it's a big year for him. But Jalen Moore's got a lot on the line, too, to get that big contract because it's
everything you said about Rice is kind of similar to Moore, where if Jalen Moore can't be the starting right tackle all year this year, if he gets replaced, if he's just not performing well, what contract is he ever going to get in the NFL again? He's just going to be a veteran minimum backup tackle for the rest of his career. But if he does start all year right tackle and he performs well, not only will the Chiefs consider making him their right tackle going forward, I mean, he may get a 2, 3, 4 year contract to be a starter.
Sure.
So it's a big deal for Moore as well. I think Rice and Moore are both in their contract years.
What did Frank Sinatra sing, Nathan, about New York? Like, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
That's exactly what he said.
Well, I'm not going to sing it because I can't sing, but he had said something about if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Well, if you can make it here, because you're not going to find a better situation or spot for a receiver to make money than being the number one receiver on this team with this quarterback and this coach.
Especially what he's good at.
Yeah. Forget about going anywhere else. If you can't do it here, you can't do it anywhere.
Well, it's because he also, like, he does have limitations as a receiver, right? Like, I think his strengths as a receiver are exactly what the Chiefs want at receiver. We want to get the ball in someone's hands quickly, let him get upfield.
He does Kelsey type stuff as a receiver.
Just get open, intermediate between zone defenders, catch and get upfield real quick, be on the same place. He's not, winning these deep balls like you see with, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. And, I mean, he's not taking the top off of defenses at all. I mean, that's not happening with him really at all. I mean, week 2, 2024, before he got hurt, he did have I
want to see what O'Shea says to him when he drops it. You get to listen to that.
Yeah.
Because he likes
hey, now that, unfortunately, we'll wait for Bieniemy to get back. Like, O'Shea is going to be the one we're hearing the most out at camp. And I've heard
he's got a lot of EB in him.
And the receivers need some barking at him. We really need an Xavier Worthy type to break out this year for sure.
You need some barking. Nathan's barking for a break. We'll come back. We'll flip it over to defense. No, you're not barking. I didn't mean that literally, Nathan. You're not barking.
I'm just giving you the puppy dog eyes.
I'm thinking of Frank Sinatra. You know what I'm talking about, Frank Sinatra? Of course you don't.
Of course I do. What are you talking about? It's like the Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott quote, where Michael Scott he quotes Wayne Gretzky, but then puts his name at the end of the quote. That's what you did with Frank Sinatra in this segment.
But I think it was Sinatra.
No, you're right.
Yes, it was.
Was that right? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
It was.
Defense next.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Man, that was the insurance company again.
What'd they say?
They want another statement, more paperwork. They're telling me what my car's worth. Now they want all my medical records.
Dude, why are you dealing with all that?
Call the Car Crash Kings.
One call and they deal with the insurance company for you. The calls, the paperwork, the negotiations. You just focus on getting better.
Hurt in a car wreck? Don't do it yourself. Call the Car Crash Kings. It's what we do.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely from advertisements.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Dispatch, this is Mindy at CM Mo's & Son. Putting off fixing electrical problems in your home can be a real hazard. Visit cmmosandson.com to take care of your electrical problems today. CM Mo's & Son. License 202058.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At Heartland Men's Health, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality. Using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation, libido, and overall body composition within just a few weeks. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, PSA and T-test, and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
New York, New York. Frank says, if I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. That's where she rides, baby. Jay Binkley, Nathan Williams, Ron Kopp. I found his song, his theme song.
Yeah, Ron Kopp, who, by the way, didn't know he was going to be subject to Bink singing during the entire break.
Yes.
I didn't really
Music
sing.
history
I didn't really
over
sing.
here.
It was just, I just remembered someone was talking about Frank Sinatra one day, and I'm sitting there watching it going, that's where she writes. He says, if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere.
Yeah, it's true. I like it. It's his theme song for the year, right?
Bust that out when he scores a touchdown. New York, New York.
They need a new touchdown song. I'm kind of getting tired of the Travis Kelce, the Beastie Boys.
Oh, speaking of Kelce,
we can admit that now.
Yeah, I mean, we've been admitting it. I think we've all been admitting it.
You're going to have to replace that position next year, which it's a whole nother animal we can get to at a certain point. We talk a little defense here. This is where it gets a little crazy. If I was to ask you, because we did discuss this earlier, who would be your 4 on your defensive line in a third down pass rushing situation?
Ooh.
Like, does our Mason enter that equation, or are you sticking with Karlaftis, Gelati, and then they Peter Woods and a Chris Jones on the outside, a Kyrus on the inside? Omar Norman Lott should be that guy if he can come back, from the ACL, because he gets that interior pass rush. But again, Peter Woods, a guy you're going to see. He started at end at Clemson before. He can do defensive tackle. Obviously, it's where he's known for, but can do a lot of different things on the defensive line.
Yeah, I'll give you a strong take just before we get into the four. I mean, Chris Jones should not be on the edge anymore.
If you can make it here, Ron, you can make it anywhere.
I think one thing with Chris Jones that he needs to kind of to accept going forward. Okay, they may not still have like this dominant edge rusher right now, this exact moment, but he is not that. He is not the answer to get the edge rush. I just feel like it honestly makes the pass rush worse when he moves out to the edge rush. Focus on getting an interior push, pushing that front of the pocket and get our Mason Thomas and Karlaftis on the edge and let them go to work, right? I think Chris Jones has to set them up more this year, play on the inside. And so those are three of them, right? I think easily you got to have Thomas and Karlaftis on the edge, Chris Jones on the inside as one of them. And so, from there you can get creative. I like Gelati as that kind of, maybe him and Karlaftis can switch off, but someone that's inside can take on a guard one-on-one if Chris Jones is going to get that center help.
Because believe it or not, Gelati was their rookie of the year last year.
Yeah, I mean, he
for
showed,
the Chiefs.
He showed some growth over the year, I will say. I do think you saw him get better as the year went on. But Peter Woods is definitely someone that fits that bill, right? Where you got Chris Jones inside, where that center is going to be, definitely okay, I got to help my guard. So it's going to be a one-on-one situation with your guard. Peter Woods fits that bill really well, and especially with Karlaftis and I think Karlaftis is so much better if he's that second threat on the edge, right? Because Thomas is going to give you that threat. I think he's really going to come in right away and give you a true, okay, we need to think about this guy.
He's going to be tough to block because his motor is crazy.
Right, and especially with Jones inside of him, right? If he's, let's say Jones is on that outside shoulder of the guard, right, and Thomas is on the edge there, that's a lot of pressure right there for a tackle to be dealing with because they could do some stunts, right, and really, mess with those guys. And, yeah, so I think it's easily Karlaftis and Thomas on the edge. Jones has to be on the inside. Stop with this nonsense of him playing on the edge on pass rush downs. And then give me Peter Woods as well. I think Woods is definitely the better fit right now. I was excited for Norman Lott, as you mentioned, right? But was not really I honestly kind of overlooked the fact that, he probably would be starting POP, right? I think tearing your ACL as a defensive lineman, that midseason is just tough to come back from.
It's harder to at his weight and position to come back from that ACL as fast as whatever. Now, the defensive back situation, interesting mix with Noel, Mansour Delane out there. In the nickel, you've got a couple candidates. Kennedy there, Kehu.
Yeah.
Who
underrated.
Who missed last year, was hurt in training camp last year. Keaton Kehu coming here. Amani Gilman at safety. You have Jaden Hicks at safety. Chris Roland Wallace can do both, can play corner or safety, whether he's on the team or not. Jaden Kennedy can move all over. So they've got some interesting choices at defensive back as well.
Yeah, well, I'll give you, just because we've only had the rookie camp to look at so far, I'll give you a name that I feel pretty confident is going to make the team out of the UDFAs. The Iowa safety Xavier Nwampa, I believe is how you say his name. I could be wrong, but I do think it's kind of funny. He played at Iowa, and so if anyone knows that special teams is important, it's this guy. I mean, I looked it up, Jay.
It's kind of what they're known for.
This dude has covered 235 punts over his career at Iowa, which seems like an absurd number to me, at least. He played 466 special team snaps over 4 years at Iowa, and he talked about it in this press conference today on Monday. Like it's something he embraces, right? He kind of said, "Hey, I'm here to play special teams and then see if I can find a defensive role as we move on." So I think that mindset's good. And so if we're talking about safety or defensive backs that could kind of sneak up onto the team, he seems like a pretty traditional safety, not like a nickel.
He was like a 3-year starter out there.
Yeah, but since his freshman year, he was starting on special teams, and he played it all the way through. He played at least 75 snaps on special teams each of his 4 years. And again, just a lot of punts to cover, which makes a lot of sense when you think about where he was playing. Those Hawkeyes, man, they took that field position game seriously in that Big Ten football schedule. But yeah, that guy's going to come in right away and be a Dave Tope favorite. You got to imagine.
Now the defensive backs, I do like the collection and what they can do, but having that elite pass rush, I can't say elite pass rush, good. Because don't forget, the Chiefs finished second in sacks in the NFL for 2 straight years.
Yeah, not that long ago.
The year they won the Super Bowl.
Right, it was only a few years ago. With a lot of the same players, right?
Yeah, for 2 straight years, they did do that. They slipped back to, 22nd, I think, last year in sacks. Weren't able to do it. But they did do it, and they did it without an elite pass rusher. They did it by committee.
Well, Chris Jones.
Okay.
But he wasn't putting up elite. No, you're right.
I'm talking 20 sack.
Yeah, an elite production, right.
And that was from the defensive line, too. You weren't getting that from the outside, but
right, and
that's
him. And that's why Spags, you just got to kind of trust Spags.
It was like Nick Bolton getting a couple here, Leo getting a couple here. I mean, it was just in the secondary getting. It was just
the blitzes.
Everybody was getting them.
Yeah, and it does feel like, I don't know. It does feel like the blitzes kind of just went stale last year. Where I don't know exactly if it's Brian Cook maybe just wasn't the guy where, you've had guys before that can kind of, they're maybe in the back end a lot of times. All of a sudden, boom, they're coming up and make like Tyrann Mathieu or Justin Reed. They're making plays as a blitz. Maybe B. Cook wasn't doing that as much. Is Gilman that kind of guy? I don't know. He really does feel like more of just a back end, like a playmaker in the back end, free safety. But I don't think you're going to get him around the line of scrimmage a lot.
Jaden Hicks will come up the line of scrimmage.
Right, and that's where Hicks and Connor really are a fun duo to follow this preseason, where is one of them going to be the true strong safety, where the other one's the true just dime safety? Because Connor's been in the slot lately, but reports seem to point to him maybe playing more of a traditional safety
and
role.
who he trusts as off-ball linebacker as safety, too, because they'll creep them up to be linebacker.
Right.
If they don't feel comfortable with a linebacker, safety will do it.
And, that's where Hicks comes in, maybe.
Like Nick Bolton, inside linebacker, he covered 23 snaps from the slot.
Yeah.
Like he was asked to do 20.
And that's just life of a...
That's when he was beaten. You're like, why is Nick Bolton on him? Because he was asked to cover 23 times in the slot.
Right, and that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. I mean, right, when you're the middle linebacker, you're trusted to play on every snap. You know, they're not going to take him off the field on a third down for anybody right now. I mean, there was a time where it felt like maybe they could do that. At one point, we had that kind of switch off where Hitchens was that early down linebacker. Boom. Then we had another middle linebacker on the field on third downs, on dime downs. But yeah, Jaden Hicks could be that dime safety where, you know, is he coming in, covering tight ends on third down, but also blitzing into the box or just kind of playing that short underneath stuff? Because I just like Connor playing back, man. I like Connor playing kind of from depth, playing with stuff in front of him. It feels like when the ball's in front of him, he's making plays, he's flying to the ball.
And how they utilize him, because keep in mind, as a defensive back, he did lead Virginia Tech in sacks. As a defensive back.
Yeah, I remember a sack.
He can get to the quarterback.
First play of the Denver game last year in Denver, he flies in and makes a great sack on Nix. Like, yeah, that's the stuff he can do if he's a strong safety more than like that nickel guy where you just have a lot more coverage responsibility. And so I'm excited. I think Connor could end up being a much better player than he seems like he is in our perception just because of the position change hopefully we'll see this year.
Yeah. Text line 405 says, come on, Hicks has lost trust with Spags. He's done.
He did last year.
He did lose
But it's
some
only his
trust.
second year. He's
He
a
did
young
lose some
player.
trust.
He was one of the youngest players.
I think they do like him, though. I think they do like him.
He was one of the youngest players in his draft class, if I remember correctly. He was very, very young. Yeah. I think
money
Jaden,
time for him.
You got to, these defensive backs, I mean, there is a lot to think about. There's a learning curve in the Spags defense with Dave Merritt. So make or break year for him for sure.
We'll take a timeout. I heard Cody and Gold do their draft for Camp Darlings. Now, what I consider Camp Darling, though, isn't necessarily be someone that can start, like someone that's drafted. I'm talking somebody that people fall in love with. What I'm talking about is the Justin Ross type. It could be an undrafted, probably typically is, but a camp guy that everybody's going to be talking about and saying, why aren't we getting him? But like a Luis Rees-Zammit.
Bink, I hate to interrupt this programming. You watching ESPN by chance right now?
I have it on.
Yeah, Tigers and Orioles are delayed because of a black squirrel running all over the field.
Oh, no, that's MLB.
Oh, no, I have an MLB network with the White Sox. You're saying the squirrel ran.
That's what I was looking up over here when you were trying to get my attention. They got a squirrel chase.
On ESPN?
On ESPN, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, we got to see this.
Chase.
He's taunting them, too.
I flipped it over there.
Anyway, sorry, back to Luis Rees-Zammit.
No, I'm always in for a good squirrel chase. Let me try to get on the right channel here. When we come back, I want to know who your Justin Ross is next.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
You don't have to carry everything on your own. Whether you're dealing with stress, anxiety, depression, substance use, or thoughts of suicide, talking to someone can help. And help is available 24/7 through the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can call or text 988 anytime to connect with a trained mental health professional. 988 is free, confidential, easy to remember, and available anytime, anywhere, to anyone. Call or text the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. No judgment, just help.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this late-night ad to make you more alert, which could help your driving. And science tells us that pulsing beats faster, stimulating audio like traveling sound, and voices on the higher,
so-called brighter end of the audio spectrum like this can encourage focus.
Also, a familiar tune can help, so...
Liberty, 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 liberty. Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see Casey's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com, Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
If you've been thinking about refinancing, don't let the cost of an appraisal hold you back. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. For a limited time, Golden Oak is offering a credit of up to $600 towards your appraisal at closing. Call today for a free mortgage checkup and see if you could lower your payment, pay off high-interest credit card debt, or put your home's equity to work. But apply by July 31st.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Lawman, jungle law.
It's the Lawman. If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident, call me ASAP, 816-816-9111. I've recovered millions for my clients. Take it away.
The lawman gets results. Jungle law team. Call the lawman. Let the fight begin. The lawman gets results. Jungle law.
Come see me get roasted August 1st at 7 p.m. at the Uptown Theater. Go to junglelaw.com for details.
The choice of a lawyer shouldn't be based on advertisements.
Chad Gray, live at the Voodoo Lounge at Harrah's, Kansas City, celebrating 30 years of madness with special guests, Butcher Babies and Devil's Cut, Mudvayne and Hell Yeah frontman Chad Gray, performing hits from both iconic bands together on one stage. Saturday, August 29th at the Voodoo Lounge. Must be 21 years old. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Chad Gray, 30 Years of Madness, live at the Voodoo Lounge at Harrah's, Kansas City, Saturday, August 29th.
Hey, it's Brew, and I feel like everything in my life depends on being connected. Whether I'm uploading a video, hopping on a call before my show, or video chatting with my family back in Michigan, I never have to think about my Wi-Fi. And that's why Xfinity stands out. You get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, you can get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Welcome back.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Camp Guys with Ron Kopp, Arrowhead Pride, who's got plenty of stuff to start working on at Arrowhead Pride. What are you working on now?
Oh man, we got so much to go through. I mean, Xavier Nampua, EJ Smith talked to the press conference, press conferences today. We got more training camp preview to go. Jared's gonna have a mailbag. Jared Sapp's gonna have a mailbag on the site tomorrow. So
Your Monday musings by you today.
Oh yeah, making fun of the Bills uniforms. That was really all.
Oh, the Bills, they were very proud of
the all grays. Let's just gray it out, guys.
They're very proud of those.
We have
disgusting.
This vibrant blue and red. Let's just gray out our uniforms.
Now next year is when the Chiefs do the rivalry uniforms, so they
I mentioned
at least
that.
for two, one or two. I don't know. I think they at least wear them for one.
Well, we'll see what it looks like. I mean, I don't know.
Is it one or two? Because teams usually.
I'm
wear
honestly
them.
not sure.
Some teams do it for two, but you wear the rival. They will wear the rivalry at some
But
point.
like when we've seen the Chiefs have their like Nike alternates before, it's just been the all whites.
Yeah.
Looking like a little whiter, I guess. I don't know. So I'm hoping. I hope they don't all go all gray, like because that was disgusting.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not gonna lie.
Bills.
That was awful. Just
All right,
awful.
fellas, it's Justin Ross time. By the way, I saw him in the UFL playing.
Hey,
Justin Ross
been,
on the UFL.
him and Cornell Powell have had a little.
Yeah, good players.
Had a
there in
little
the
UFL
UFL.
snap.
All right, who's going to be the guy that you're going to be talking about, Ron? Because you're going to be getting a ton of feedback. We'll spend more time talking about who, Nathan. Your guy, because I heard Cody and Gold talk about this. It's fun. It's always fun because there's always the camp guy. Sometimes the camp guy makes it. A lot of times camp guy makes it on practice squad, and you're still talking, why isn't camp guy playing for the Chiefs at this point? I've got my guy. Who's yours?
Well, at the tight end position, it was going to be
Brenningstool.
It was going to be JMG, our guy from Kansas City, Michael Gillenborg.
Oh, from Wyoming,
yeah. Unfortunately, it sounds like we might not see much of him this preseason. He has a pre-existing injury. I will give you Trey Watson though, because
Trey Watson.
He, you know what? To be honest with you, I was a little out of the loop last training camp. I did not really get to camp crush on him last year, but it does seem like he has a blocking profile the Chiefs really do need from the tight end position. And so if he can really prove himself as an impact blocker, an inline blocker, right, someone that you can put in the game, have your second tight end maybe more that motion move guy that Travis Kelce does a lot of time, even Noah Gray when he's just better in that role. They need a real inline blocker. If Trey Watson can be that guy, I'm excited to see what he looks like in camp.
Brenningstool, do you guys agree he'll definitely be somebody? Because last year people really liked him. Even though he didn't really do anything, he didn't play because he was hurt, but there was a lot of Jake Brenningstool talk last season.
He's a flashy player. He's a pass catcher.
He is. I think
he would be definitely on the list.
In terms of my camp darling, I think he'll be overtaken by Trey Watson as well. That's who I was going to go with as far as mine. Because, and just considering
Watson,
room,
Watson.
I know, on Fesco and Dusty, every morning. It would be great to have, because we've lost all of the Watsons off of the Chiefs the last few years. It'd be great to add one back so we can keep that drop in the system. No, and just considering the state of this tight end room behind Travis Kelce, it is wide open. If you can get a guy who, like you mentioned, Ron can block and also, give Chiefs fans one Twitter clip of him going up and making a catch, they'll be sold. But as far as the fans go, Jeff Caldwell, I think, has got to be
someone's got to say it
way out in front of the pack right now for the favorite. Right?
And I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm going to have the same one as you. It's Jeff Caldwell, because here was a guy who's 6'5", something that they don't have. He ran a 4.31 at the combine.
Megatron.
He is 6'5", ran a 4.31.
He's got the Megatron.
He's got to work on the routes and things like that. But yes, he was undrafted. He's with the Chiefs. He left high school at like 5'10", 5'11". He hit that growth spurt when he went to college. Like, you rarely see somebody about 5'10", 5'11" jump up to 6'5".
Well, wasn't he at a
like
D3
Caldwell.
school, D2 school?
He played several different places before he made it to Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati was just 1 year stop.
I'm surprised they weren't peppered with Brendan Sorsby questions.
The Lindenwood Lion.
Lindenwood.
Wow.
So FCS.
Lindenwood. Holy cow.
FCS before he went to Cincinnati, but it's a guy that's 6'5". He represents something different, but he runs a 4.31. And I think people will remember that. But, he did play FCS at Lindenwood. But he's 6'5", 216. He's known for the one-handed catches, known for just being a freak athlete, like a total freak athlete. But he'll be the guy that people talk about because he will make, Nathan, you know as well as I do, he'll make that one-handed catch in the back of the end zone. He'll use that 6'5" frame, and people will go nuts on Jeff Caldwell. I think they already are. Haven't you noticed a little Jeff Caldwell buzz as soon as they signed with the Chiefs?
For sure. I mean, literally there was a tweet comparing his RAS, relative athletic score, to Megatron. I mean, when you can put that out there, the hype's going to build. No, I think just because it's so easy as if you're a fan at training camp to see a guy make a catch, like a dunk on you catch over a guy, like those guys are always going to be the camp darlings, whether it's Jody Fortson back in the day.
No, he was 5'8", excuse me. He was 5'8", and then he went to 6'5".
That's actually crazy.
That is wild.
But hey, he's blossoming right now. But
I think he's done growing though.
I will always give Jody Fortson his flowers because he was that Camp Crush guy, and he actually turned into an actual player.
Team, yeah.
That 2022 team, he only had 9 catches, I think only 1 touchdown. You have to put respect on his name for being that third tight end in 2022. So until someone out Jody Fortson's Jody Fortson, he's the gold standard. He's the Camp Darling gold standard for me. So Jeff Caldwell's got a long way to go.
5'8" to 6'5", Nathan.
That's actually insane. Because I'm 5'8", and I cannot imagine being 6'5".
Was it the water?
I'm 6'3", and I was 6'2" when I was like 13 years old. And I stopped growing at that point. It's just wild how different the trajectories we can take. You don't hear about a guy growing like that in college. But big
9-inch growth spurt.
If there's one thing that I love hearing about my wide receiver, it's, he's got to work on those routes, and that's what you led with. So I don't know. I mean, the Raz is great. I'm way behind the pack on the Jeff Caldwell hype.
Oh, he's raw. Would definitely have to do some growing. But when you're 6'5" and you run a 4.31, it does pique your interest.
The Jason Brownlee Memorial, right? He was the guy all last year. Preseason, he caught him a Mahomes jump ball touchdown.
I'm with you. I think that's the Justin.
And then we never heard from him again. So yeah, I could see Caldwell going down that path of preseason touchdowns and then never being.
You know what's happening. The little clip's going to be on the news. Of course, it's going to be on social media. He's going to make.
It's just such an easy
He's
clip.
He's going to make a catch against somebody that's going to be selling insurance.
It's harder to clip
year.
the Cyrus Allen, make a corner, shake out of his boots on a route. It's easier to clip the Jeff Caldwell, even if it's in like a random one-on-one period.
Here's what's going to happen. Preseason game 3, Nussmeier's going to come in and go for 300. Caldwell's going to have like 110 in that game.
Nussmeier's just going to go
it's going to be game 3 of the preseason.
Mahomes
will be wearing a visor the whole time.
Nussmeier might be the best third quarterback they've had in a while. So
you know what's funny is
it's
a draft pick you hope you never see.
Yeah. Preseason will be fun, though.
Draft pick you hope you never see. Anyway, sure. Ron Kopp, thank you so much, my friend.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks for having me.
We come back. Do want to react to that. And are Nathan and I crazy for Jeff Caldwell being the camp guy? I want to hear yours. 913-586-7965 next.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
It's been a tough Saturday on the lake. I ordered swim trunks in this orange cream color, but it's actually more orange auburn. Oh, and it's swimwear. I probably can't even return these.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
It's a lawman, 3-time DUI award-winning attorney in Kansas City. You wanted results? Here you go. First-degree murder charge, dismissed. Felony DUI, dismissed. Felony to misdemeanor, multiple. Felony jury trial, not guilty. Call the lawman, 816-816-9111. Take it away.
The lawman gets results. Jump along, call the lawman. Let the fight begin.
Voted by Pitch and Casey Magazine. The choice of a lawyer shouldn't be based on advertisements.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
When your joints hurt every single day and you've been told you need surgery, it can feel like there's only one option left. But please, do your homework. Remember, once a joint is replaced, there's no going back. Hey, it's Bob Fesco. Before you schedule that surgery, consider getting a second opinion from QC Kinetics. Whether you're dealing with the pain of bone-on-bone arthritis, a torn meniscus, or just years of wear and tear, surgery isn't the only conversation you should have. Talk to QC Kinetics about how they use regenerative treatments to deliver real relief to patients right here in Kansas City. They concentrate tiny healing tools from within your own body, targeting the exact spot that's causing the pain. The whole idea is to give you a real shot at holding off surgery or, in some cases, avoiding it altogether. So get your free consultation at QC Kinetics now, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Located at 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, 816-412-6299.
DQ presents Being a Miracle Maker. Making a difference in your community has never been easier because July 30th is Miracle Treat Day at DQ. You buy a blizzard tree at participating locations, and DQ will donate $1 or more to Children's Miracle Network to benefit your local children's hospital. So on July 30th, buy a blizzard tree and be a miracle maker, a blizzard-eating hero, doing their part on Miracle Treat Day. July 30th, DQ. Happy tastes good.
Follow us on Instagram for behind-the-scenes content at The Fan 965, KFMZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
8 o'clock hour on After Hours. Thanks to Ron Kopp from Arrowhead Pride for joining us for an hour talking Kansas City Chiefs. That always goes so fast. Nathan Williams here with me. We decided that Caldwell is going to be our camp guy. I mean, it's hard not to be 6'5" and run a 4.31 and not make a nice 20-second clip that's going to be shown on the newscast, my friend. But you know what's going to happen, and you're going to think about it every time you see it.
Yeah, he's going to
There's our
have
Justin Ross.
Absolutely. He'll have everyone in the palm of his hands.
Yes.
And then he'll get cut. He'll get assigned to the practice squad, and we'll probably never see him again.
Why didn't he come up? Why didn't he on here?
Yeah.
This would be the team, though, to be able to make it and get some plays. Like, if you can do that, because it's so thin. Like, being a receiver on this team, man, it's just like a golden opportunity. But he will be the camp guy, because we all have our camp guys that we watch and we follow. And I think Khalil Benson has a great chance to be there as well. I know that me or Ron didn't have that on there, but I think there's room for more than one. We put it that way.
Well, to the extent that an offensive lineman could be a camp darling, I think Khalil Benson's got a good shot.
Yes.
I just think he's more in the ilk of a future prospect type of, what do we have here? What can we work with? What can be molded? I'm not taking him seriously as a competitor for that right tackle job. Do you seriously view him as a guy that could push Jalen Moore for the job at the start of this season?
No, I don't see it, but I do think it's a guy that they want the pipeline with. It's in the practice squad to begin with. Or if he could maybe show out in camp. Maybe he goes out and shows out in camp, because he definitely did during OTAs. But again, that's much different. As even Andy Reid said, hey, when you get the pads on, you go forward, you get in the training camp, things change. So you can look good at that point, but then guess what happens? Then you got to do it when the players are there and they're ready to roll. But we see it all the time with certain guys. But he did talk about Khalil Benson, so I am curious. This is actually what Andy Reid said about him during OTAs.
Yeah, so big and strong, and looks like he has some good athletic ability, good feet for a big fellow like that. Extremely strong hands, and look forward to seeing him in pads. It's hard to evaluate some of these guys if you haven't seen them in pads before in these type of practices. There's not a whole lot of contact going on there. So, but he's been able to handle everything, and we'll see where it goes.
See, that was during OTAs, Nathan. You rarely hear that kind of stuff from Andy Reid regarding an undrafted free agent. Strong hands. But then he said it right there. We'll see what happens when he puts the pads on. We'll see what happens when you do that. And that's some of the best drills you see. Offensive lineman versus defensive lineman, the one-on-one battles you see, because that's actually a lot of fun that you get to see, guys participate in that. I remember Kingsley doing extremely well in that drill. Trey Smith has always dominated that drill from day one.
Yeah, and they share traits that Andy Reid mentioned about Khalil Benson right there. In the last segment, I told you something I don't love to hear about my wide receiver is he struggles running routes. Things I love to hear about my offensive lineman is he's big, strong, and athletic. Right?
Smelly-ass football players.
Where'd that come from?
That was from this morning. We were talking about your first – well, boy, this is going to sound even worse. How do I say this? We were talking about your first experience showering in a locker room, like in middle school, high school. Yeah, and like how you were nervous at the start. I don't remember the context beyond that. I told you it was going to be weird. You brought it up. I said it was going to be weird. And Dusty said that his football coach made them shower in between two-a-days while they were at class.
We never had to, but we did two-a-days.
You didn't have to shower?
No.
Oh, my God.
Didn't have to. A lot of guys, you stay there in your pads would turn crisp because you'd be sweating them all morning.
You sat in your pads in class?
No. You eat two-a-days, like before class started.
Sure, yeah.
So you'd wear them there. It'd be the only thing going on. So you'd go practice for a couple hours in the morning. Then you would go eat lunch or whatever. But a lot of people, kept their pads on or whatever. And so you get that heat, 90 to 100-degree heat outside. Then you go inside in that cool school, that's kind of aired down. So you walk into a cooler climate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the stuff starts to crisp up a little bit. But no, I went home like smelling like crap too, man. I mean, it's straight from football to there. I didn't do the whole, joint shower system situation. Did you? Like, I know some people do it during gym class and stuff. It's like there's no time for that crap.
Yeah, there was never any time in gym class. And then
No.
I the sports that I played, I was in baseball, and then I was on the drum line. Those didn't require practices before school, so a shower was never required at a facility. But yeah, in the middle of gym class, maybe like I think, I want to say 6th or 7th grade, they like made a big deal about like, hey, if you're not comfortable, bring swim trunks because you're expected to shower. And then all the kids shower, the first day, and then you realize how you don't have time to do that again, and then you stop doing it, and you just stink the rest of the day. That's kind of how that went, if I remember right.
That was 2-a-days, and guys would go out there in sweat, and then we'd go back out there for the afternoons, and you'd continue to stink. I'm sure it was I'm sure it smelled like hell, to be honest with you. I can't remember. Back then, it was a glorious smell, right? It was the smell of victory.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It was the smell of hard work, Nathan.
But yeah, that's where the drop came from.
It was the smell of getting 1% better.
Smelly ass football players.
That's right. That's right, Dusty.
Second he said that, I envisioned it in some sort of intro or sweeper here in the future. So we'll see. I think we'll hear that drop again.
I did ask, I used to do whenever we'd have different Royals on and stuff during the day shift and stuff, I used to ask them, did you ever carry beers in the shower with you? Like I asked Peter Moylan that one time and several others, like, do you ever shower beers? Are they very popular in Major League Baseball?
Why baseball specifically?
But I don't know, just after the game, you're after the game, chilling out.
Oh, okay, you mean at the facility?
Yeah, at the facility.
At the clubhouse, celebrating.
It's more conducive doing that than the NFL locker rooms. Sure. You've been to Chiefs games plenty of time after the game, and the guys want to get out and go. But baseball players linger around a little longer. Like you've been in the clubhouse for the Royals and the Chiefs. There's definitely a difference in.
Oh yeah, they're ready to get out of there. Yeah,
but baseball
for the Chiefs. Yeah.
But baseball, they do linger around a little bit. They'll play, joke around with each other, tease each other. They eat,
have a drink if they're celebrating something. Yeah, sure.
They usually eat, well after the game because there's always some spread in from a local restaurant or something brings food in for them. But they've got it made. Like pro baseball, they have it made. They eat very, very well. They have a chef usually working for every team. They eat well before they play. They eat well after they play. It's a different deal. I remember, who was it? It was Kevin, a reliever they had. Kevin, it was like 16 or 17. It was a reliever the Royals had. He came up from AAA, and there was the Gatorade. There's the big Gatorade thing in the clubhouse before the players would leave. And he opened his backpack and threw a bunch of him there. I was like, what are you doing, dude? Because they never going back to AAA or whatever. And they didn't have a lot of the stuff the pros do. Like, hey, man, I got to take advantage.
McCarthy.
Kevin McCarthy.
Because I wanted to say MacArthur.
It was Kevin
McCarthy.
Yeah,
Kevin
he was
McCarthy.
loading it up. I was like, Kevin, what are you doing, man? He's like, I'm just loading up, man. This stuff's free. I was like, I'll never forget Joey Gallo when he made his debut on the road for the Rangers. Well, he played in Texas. So when he got his call up to the Rangers, he was an interesting guy. Remember, he played in that. He played like youth baseball, like Bryce Harper and stuff like that. He was on like that
stud coming up.
Yeah, this team they had in Vegas, youth team they had in Vegas. But he gets called up with the Rangers, and it was his first road trip, right? So he was in the clubhouse there before the game, talking about being good. Texas media kind of wanted to know, hey, what's it like, man? He's like, yeah, man, chartered plane and all that. He goes, but you know what? They had Chipotle, man. They had Chipotle on the plane. And I had to call my friends or text my friends that I had Chipotle on the plane. I've made it now in major leagues because we get Chipotle on the plane. Like he was very excited. Joey was very excited about the Chipotle on the Rangers flight to Kansas City.
I have no qualms. I would be just as excited.
It's a different world, man. When they get called up, I know in AAA, you still stay in nicer places and stuff, but in the lower levels, you don't as much. But when you get to major leagues and you're flying, you're staying in great places, you have a chef, working for your team. It's a totally different lifestyle when people make it to the major leagues.
And a larger percentage of baseball players do get juggled up and down. And so like Kevin McCarthy, they might be enjoying these amenities for a second and then they go back to sort of a harsh reality.
I'm sure it's fine up in Omaha and stuff, but it's definitely different than being in Kansas City. for what you have. The unlimited coolers of Gatorade and just the food and everything else that you get from being on a major league roster. It's a good lifestyle to have. And not only that, but think about the per diem they make per day on the road. Like, that's outside of your salary and everything else, the per diem you get a day to eat. When these players go, like, on road trips to Detroit or whatever, like, just banking, I don't know what it is now. It's got to be at least a couple $100 a day that they get for per diem, whether they use it or not. They don't have to because they feed you at the stadium or whatever.
I think it's a couple $100 per day?
Probably close to it.
Wow.
I mean, it was well over 100 at that point.
Yeah, how many
like
meals
a
are you
decade
eating?
ago?
You're probably getting...
Well, you're getting a lunch
something
and
for
a dinner.
breakfast.
Yeah, you're
something for breakfast or lunch, and then maybe something after the game. But your pregame meal's done.
If you're going out or whatever to eat, just
Yeah.
bank that money, or man. You got to think about when you're playing Major League Baseball, like, you're not driving all the time either. So there's not the oil changes and everything else. A lot of times your car's just sitting there, at the stadium when you're on a road trip. It's got to be a great life, doesn't it? That's why these guys stress so much to stay up here.
Yeah, I'd trade places with them for sure. I don't want to do the hard work, but I would take the benefits.
Yeah,
sure.
just to get called up and play in Major League Baseball and have that experience. Speaking of Major League Baseball, Salvi, I'm going to talk about Salvador Perez and kind of what he's meant to the Kansas City Royals next.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent medium fountain and new Frostbite by Casey's drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, dig between your couch cushions, ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. 89-cent medium Frostbite by Casey's or fountain drinks at Casey's all summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. Dan Hughes here, and for everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app. Then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Men, erectile dysfunction can affect much more than just your sex life. It can create stress in relationships, leading to feelings of anxiety or embarrassment, and impact your overall confidence and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and we specialize in treating men's sexual health issues to help men find solutions that fit their individual needs. ED is a frustrating condition, and many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But the good news is that if you're like most men, we have the answer. Our licensed medical providers will evaluate your specific medical situation and recommend a plan designed for you. And these advanced medical therapies work, with treatments having success rates of well over 90%. Which means you and the one you love can have great sex again without the fear and worry of ED. You can even last up to an hour or more, and you may just find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Don't let garage door problems sideline your summer plans. Renner Garage Door is ready to tackle repairs, tune-ups, and replacements. Get your free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Geldon, A-Bar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoor.com forward and back.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Chiefs Kingdom. It's hot as hell, which can only mean one thing. We're putting Cody in Gold in an outdoor tent. No water, no more snow cones. But you get to listen from an air-conditioned car or the comfort of your office. Cody and Gold are live from the practice field at Chiefs training camp all summer long. Real-time updates and one-on-one player interviews. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back, Jay Binkley, Nathan Williams. Big weekend for you, Nathan, for a certain reason. There's a certain player that did something well that sounded a little bit something like this.
Swing and a ball well hit. Left field, way back and gone. He's done it. Salvador Perez, number 318 in his career. He's now the Royals' franchise leader in home runs. One legend replaces another. Salvador Perez rounding the bases. And the Royals tying the game 2-2. See history made in Detroit.
That was a really good call by Steve Stewart. I actually heard Joe Buck talking about this. I know people actually love Joe Buck. Just kidding. But he was on MLB Network. Was getting interviewed, right, by Harold Reynolds and Greg Amsinger were on there. And he was asked about, like, making historical calls, right? Because Joe's called more World Series than anybody else or whatever. And he made some good points. He would say a lot of people are ingrained to watching their own team, right? So you watch your own team. If you hit a home run, everybody's excited. Like the broadcaster's excited. When the other team does, you're not. But if you're sitting there and you're watching a team, and the other team hits a home run, you show some excitement, you can't do it. They see that as your negative against their team. When you're just trying to be neutral, calling it for both teams. Mm-hmm. But he also talked about what he would do during legendary calls. Like he used to write it down. He had it written down like in a book. And if it got there, like if he was chasing something or some record going to be broke, like with Mark McGwire passing Roger Maris, whatever, he had it written down what he was going to say. And then it happened, and he couldn't find it. He was like trying to flip it, and he just said what was on his mind, which turned out to be a great call. He said, sometimes you just got to let things flow. It's like the final out for the Royals, when Ryan Lefevre, called it in 15, you just let it come natural, whatever you're going to say. But if you write it down, it sounds kind of canned and organized and stuff like that. But Steve there, that sounded unprepared. That sounded just really good.
Yeah, Ryan's call in 2015, if it was prepared, it certainly wouldn't have started with...
Didn't sound like it.
It's over.
Yeah.
But instead it turned into a legendary call, him repeating the world champion Kansas City Royals. Yeah, absolutely. You have to be a prisoner of the moment. You can't be a fan, of course. You have to still remain, professional. Stewart did. He didn't, go crazy for Salvador Perez or anything, but you could tell he was beaming with pride for what he was watching.
But that's okay with the hometown broadcast on a hometown station. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. But you also have to let the crowd, the audience, your audience, be a prisoner of the moment too. You have to let them into the stadium. And so you could hear the public address announcer mentioning something. You could hear the fans cheering, and that's important parts of the moment as well.
And Denny Matthews said something during the run in 15, right, through the playoffs. And during his broadcast, remember we had HDH and they were just going through and mowing people down. Mm-hmm. And I think it was Wade Davis or something was on the mound. He goes, I'll let the crowd tell you what happens. Because he gets there for the final play. He says, Wade Davis in the windup throwing, I'll let the crowd tell you what happens.
Yeah, what game was that?
And then he didn't say anything. He let the crowd... And it was a strikeout, and the crowd went nuts. And then he didn't say anything. He just let it play out. But he goes, I'll let the crowd tell you what happens. But a lot of times, good broadcasters, when they'll say, he hadn't homered in a while, he's due, and then he hits a home run. You know what I'm saying? They have this ability to just know kind of when things are going to happen. But then he was so good at that. I'll let the crowd tell you what happened, which is what he did. But, writing the things down or what you're going to say. But everybody knew Salvador Perez was going to do it. He was going to hit that record-breaking home run. What are you going to say during it? I don't know if they wrote it down or anything, but Steve happened to know. He had to know that it may happen, on the road, obviously, when he's going to make the call. But I thought it sounded great.
Yeah, I was hoping he got one opportunity, I believe, after he tied. I was at the game last Wednesday against the Giants. I think he got one opportunity after tying it to break it. So, of course, I was just praying that happened. They're at home, and once it didn't, you knew it was coming while they were on the road. I mean, it's the longest road trip of the season, and Salvi's
his first home run was hit there, right?
Salvi's hot.
His first home run was hit there off Scherzer.
Yes, yeah, and they showed the replay of that a bunch over this weekend. Salvi's his OPS is like near 900 in the month of July, I think, if I remember correctly. Like he has been, you knew he was going to pass this on the road trip, but it is. God, he's just the guy that you wanted to have set this record. Anyone that could have come along and passed George Brett in this way. I would put George Brett's career ahead of Salvador Perez. We had that discussion this morning as well. But if there were any person in the history of this franchise, and probably that I will ever watch play for this franchise, he is the one that I would prefer to hold that record. If it's not George Brett,
because I heard you talking about that this morning. You were talking about your favorite Royal of all time. And it's interesting hearing people in different age groups, like who they would say that is. Like in my age group growing up, it was George. Like that was my guy. I appreciate everything Sal Perez has done, but, growing up is George Brett. You're a kid in this town, George is doing his things. You grew up liking George Brett, right?
Sure.
I mean, it's a simple thing. I was at the 1980 World Series as a very small kid, but I was there. So I was there in 1980. So it's all George Brett memories, growing up. And that's always been my greatest Royal has been George. But I understand Sal, too, and appreciate what he's done. But you're obviously in a different age bracket than me, Nathan. And that's interesting because that is your guy, Salvador Perez, which you've seen his whole career right in front of your eyes, and that's who became your favorite.
Well, I told you earlier I love David DeJesus. I also I was fond for both Tony Gonzalez and Dante Hall when I was a little kid. Salvi came around when I was in high school. I wasn't a little kid when he came around. I was a not astute, might be a little too egotistic here, but I followed the game of baseball closely. I mean, I watched the Royals nearly every single day at that point in my life. And the point I made earlier was that Salvador Perez just taught me things about the game that I wasn't observing at that time. You go from being a kid that it's like, what is it? Chicks dig the long ball. Long ball sells tickets. It is what everyone says that game between the Astros and the Dodgers in the World Series, where it was like 13-12 is the best game ever. Not even close. I would much rather watch a 1-0 pitcher's duel where that one comes in the bottom of the 8th and a guy steals a base.
Which is interesting because in football, people will go nuts if it's only a 3-0 game.
But that's because of Salvador Perez. Like I started watching things like how to hold a runner and avoid him getting a bigger lead. You see a lot of catchers pump and throw down to first base. Sally wouldn't do that. He was a lot more stealthy with it. His caught stealing percentage was so high earlier on in his career. Just like back picks, the way he would control a pitching staff, the way that guys would open up. I think, I want to say it was Kelvin Herrera. I don't want to get this wrong because it was some Royals player, maybe Ventura, who did their first interview in English, but in the middle of that run in like 2013,
I think it was
2014. It could have been. And his first interview.
Because he was proud of that, because PR would even say something.
Yes.
Go interview Kelvin because he wants to do an interview in English.
Talked about like Salvador Perez helping him learn the language, but also getting used to strategy and like how much he helped his career. Then you've heard that, but my point is that was the first time I'd heard that about Salvi. Is I love throwing to him. He's made me more comfortable and a better pitcher. And then of course everyone from there on out has said this guy everyone loves him. Everyone loves pitching to him. He's just got that infectious energy, that smile that is known league wide. I saw a tweet earlier today that I retweeted. I don't remember who sent it out, that said, if Salvador Perez played at Great American Ballpark instead of Kauffman Stadium for his home games, not all of his games, but if he just played for the Reds instead of the Royals, he would have 397 home runs right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about a guy, you can't do that. He has 318. I get it. We're talking about a guy that might have one of, definitely amongst the greatest power tool that a catcher has ever had, in addition to all of those other traits that I mentioned before that are defensive, that are intangible off the field. It's been fantastic to watch his career from start to the finish. And I mean, it's not done yet, but you know what I'm saying. He is my favorite athlete that I have ever watched. I'm less of a fan now.
Sure.
I'm more analytic. I watch it more as a job now, as a way to figure out a topic for the next day or what have you. I'm less of a fan, and that's okay. But Salvador Perez is my favorite athlete I ever got to watch. And this comes from a guy who's lived in a town with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. No, it's Salvi for me, man. Yeah. I feel just so lucky to have watched his career.
I do. I feel the same way, and it's funny because he was part of that core, because that the young Rose core, they wanted the Texas League, then they won the Pacific Coast League, they won in the different levels, AA, AAA. With Hosmer coming up and Salvi being here, and what you're seeing from Moose joining the equation and being part of that core, to then the lean years, after the World Series, to being part of the younger core, with the Bobby Witt Jr. and making the postseason. Again, now they haven't parlayed that to any success, but he's been really the part of two kind of growths with the Kansas City Royals. Like, he's been a part of both of them, and that's been a big part of it. His voice in that locker room and what he's had to say and his motivation level between those guys. But you look at his numbers. With 5 Silver Sluggers, He's a World Series MVP, which I think gets lost a lot when people are talking about Salvador Perez and you hear him nationally talking about him. Does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame or not? But, they always leave that out. But that's always one of the big caveats with baseball.
Well, it's
like, did you win a World Series and were you a World Series MVP? Because you hear that being tossed about with a lot of different guys that they're discussing for the Hall of Fame or whatever. Well, he was a World Series MVP, but you don't hear it with Salvador Perez, but he was.
Well, I don't think being a World Series MVP in and of itself is a criteria to get in, because obviously it depends so much on, your team getting there, and then you'll have someone random win the award. Doesn't mean they should be a Hall of Famer. But when you talk about players who should be in the Hall of Fame, how they perform in the playoffs is a huge part of it. So that is absolutely a cherry on top of his Hall of Fame Sunday, is that when he was at the biggest moment of his career, he won the MVP of the series. Of course, that's a huge deal.
The fun thing was about covering the Royals, in 14 and 15, when they were going to the World Series every year. The one guy that would catch the most games in Major League Baseball was only Salvador Perez. And then as soon as the season was over, he'd be on like a traveling all-star team, and he'd be playing in Japan. He wouldn't rest. Like, the team was always trying to get him to rest, but there he was catching the ball in all-star games and on traveling teams and everything else. And I would always remember he'd catch 9 innings, and you would think he'd be exhausted, but he wasn't. There was one guy that was always full of energy in the clubhouse afterwards, bouncing a soccer ball or tennis ball or whatever. And you're kind of like, I remember several times people look around like, where does he get his energy? And what's that noise? With Sal Perez, kicking a ball, against the locker.
Yeah.
It's like he never got tired. Like, he always had energy, and it was always like after the game, guys were exhausted. Except for Perez, man. After catching all those innings, he would just bounce around. 9-time All-Star, 5-time Gold Glove, 5-time Silver Slugger, Comeback Player of the Year, Roberto Clemente Award, World Series MVP, of course, World Series champion. I mean, franchise record holder for home runs in this ballpark with having those amount of home runs, 318 in this ballpark. I know you play on the road and stuff, but it is an extra asterisk when you played in Kansas City.
Yeah, and you also can't – I'm not going to sit here and say he also missed years because of injuries, because everyone deals with injuries.
Yeah,
but he did miss almost a full year because of the pandemic as well, though.
Yep.
And that is not something the average player goes through. And he missed that time in a year where when he came back, when that season started and we played a third of the season, he hit 11 home runs that year. He then tied the Royals' single-season record the next year. So COVID was right during his absolute peak power as well. You got to think that robbed him of 20 or 25 home runs in and of itself, let alone the ballpark. So 318, I don't know what is he going to play, another year, 2 years? I don't know where he finishes, but just call it 350. It's going to be well short of Mike Piazza. But in terms of the power trait itself, it's very underlooked historically. As far as a power-hitting catcher that Salvador Perez is.
That 2021 season when he tied Vlad Guerrero for 48 home runs, Vlad Guerrero Jr. was going nuts that year with 48 as well. Shohei that year, the National League leader at 46. So Sal beat him by 2 that year, but that was the year that he tied Vlad with 48 home runs.
Yeah, and Salvador Perez finished 8th in the MVP voting that year, which was an absolute travesty.
You know what the most ridiculous stat was ever? 36 home runs was the lead for the Royals for forever without voting until Moose beat it. And then Salvi shortly beat it after that. It was insane. But yeah, Sal Perez, his power is unbelievable. Just the home runs he would hit that were basically thrown like 2 inches off the ground, and he would fish him out over the fence like late in the game. Like, I remember Ned was just always amazed by that, like after a game, how Salvi just dug something out and ended up hitting the home run because he just had that kind of power. And he'd be catching. I mean, and he never did it, but in a game, of course. But I remember the 14 playoffs, they were screwing around before a game, a playoff game, and they were just kind of moving around, taking fly balls and everything else. Guys were hitting, and guess who was playing shortstop? Perez. Like, he was out there at short. Now, he's not as big as he is now, but he was out there because, the best player typically comes from shortstop or has been shortstop at some point in their career, which I'm sure he was in youth baseball for a big part of his career. There he was at shortstop before a game in the playoffs, just kind of jacking around, but he was actually awesome at it.
I wouldn't put it past him, especially young, lean Salvador Perez, who doesn't look exactly like he looks right now. It's so funny watching those videos of his debut. You're like, man, a little scrawny kid he was.
And he's a nice guy.
Oh, yeah. He never heard anyone say anything other than that.
Yeah. So, and he always had respect for the organization. So, yeah, it was good to see. Good to see it happen with Salvador Perez. But it's just kind of always interesting to hear guys in their favorite players growing up. Coming up next, we'll get back to the Kansas City Chiefs. We talked about what makes you excited about this team. What keeps you up at night? What do you fear about the 2026 Chiefs next?
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Dispatch, this is Mindy at CM Mo's & Sons.
Well, boy, it's getting hot out there. Now, if your AC's making funny noises, just needs a once-over, or your home isn't as cool as it used to be, visit cmmosandsons.com. CM Mo's & Sons. License 202919.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation. Because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special, both for you and your partner. At Heartland Men's Health, we take great pride in providing excellent care and treatment options for ED. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no two cases are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
DQ presents Being a Miracle Maker. July 30th is Miracle Tree Day. You buy a blizzard tree at participating locations, and DQ will donate $1 or more to Children's Miracle Network to benefit your local children's hospital. DQ, happy tastes good.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and you know baseball's back. BetMGM, the official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the high heat all season long. All season long, you can log into the BetMGM app and receive top-tier promos that put you in the batter's box and up the excitement for America's pastime. Step up to the plate all season with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing could score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boosts, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat and every inning with MLB same-game parlay boosts. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, lock in bigger value with MLB odds boost tokens and MLB parlay boost tokens all season long. More boosts, more swings, more chances to win. Download the BetMGM app and step up to the plate today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
My Lowe's Pro Rewards members, save big during Lowe's Pro Savings Days. Get your member volume discount plus an extra 5% off eligible orders with a quote of $2,000 or more. And buy more and save more with up to 20% off in-stock molding when you spend $250 or more. Members get more at Lowe's. Valid through 7/31. Exclusions, more terms, and restrictions apply. Can't be combined with any contract or special pricing. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit the Pro Desk or Lowe's.com/terms for more details. Subject to change.
Welcome back, Jay Binkley, Nathan Williams, After Hours. It still says 92 degrees on my phone. The real feel was a little over 100, like 103 or something like that. What the hell, man?
Dude, I tell you what. So we had one of the girls that actually stood as a bridesmaid in our wedding. Melissa. She is moving away. She's going to grad school. So this was her last weekend in town, and we live out in Lawrence, and she's got a favorite restaurant that she wanted to go to with all of her friends one last time. So this Saturday, we're going to dinner to celebrate. Lo and behold, her favorite restaurant only has a patio table available. So what do? We sit on the patio.
Oh, no.
Real feel is 115.
Oh,
There's
no.
80% humidity.
Oh,
It
no.
was
80%. Oh, that dew point. Oh,
dude. I was having some thoughts during that dinner, man. It was I was delusional at points.
Was there anybody else? Was the patio full too? I guess.
Oh, no. We were the only ones out there.
Oh, you were the only one on the patio table
because the inside was full because it was 115 degrees outside.
Did you put an amen to say, "Hey, can you at least if you have a table open?"
Of course.
Did they move you?
No.
Really?
Yeah. No.
Did they give you like beer specials or keep bringing water to your table or
$2.99 High Lifes? Had a couple of those.
Did you?
Yes, sir.
Constantly filling up water
and High Life. Yep. And I had to make 0 restroom trips. My body was taking care of it itself.
You were hydrating. Did you keep the dinner short?
Yeah, we got out of there and found a bar with AC.
Okay.
quickly. Oh yeah.
So you're like, all right, we're good and everything. But we've eaten. Can we?
Everyone
go to a bar
stunk
now?
though by that point.
Something with AC.
Yeah.
But being in front of a grill is not fun either. I'm sure you know. When you
oh my goodness, no.
You just throw it on the air fryer.
Yeah, once it's above, and like,
have you ever thrown steaks on air fryer? By the way, have you ever done it?
No, I haven't.
It actually doesn't suck.
I've heard that. I mean, nothing is better than that first cook on the Blackstone or the grill after the winter. But if it's above that 85 to 90 degree range, it diminishing returns set in. It becomes more of a chore than it's worth at that point in time. When you're standing over that thing and dripping sweat, it's like I'll wait for the fall to roll around. That's the point I'm at right now when it comes to outdoor cooking.
You're a good friend to do that. You're a good friend to do that, Nathan.
Oh, she's like our best friend. She was dying to go here. Yeah. It's her last weekend in town. We had to, but boy, oh boy, it was not fun.
I might have said, "Can we get takeout?"
Yeah,
can we get takeout and go have your wonderful food somewhere else?
That's the same time Mac was getting married too.
Yeah,
so those guys were sitting in suits and ties.
I heard they kept it short, though. What was that? Wedding didn't last long at all, did it?
Jesse said it was 12 minutes from the time the first person walked down the aisle till the kiss. So, yeah, it's not bad at all.
I remember Vern's wedding. It started raining or something, so they had the whole wedding inside. It actually was nice because you sit down in one spot and you didn't have to move. And with Vern, there wasn't even a cash bar. It's free liquor for Vern's bar.
Oh.
Which is, it was awesome.
I didn't know Vern was moving like that.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
He was jamming, man. He was so excited, yeah. I've told you the story. You know about Moose hitting 300, right? Is the only reason he went on that dating game.
Yeah.
I've told you that story, right?
Yeah, I was a listener during that time.
Yeah, he fell in love because of that. All right, Nathan, no, we don't have a ton of time before this.
Shout out KDB, right?
Shout out
KDB at that time.
Yeah, Vern's the zookeeper, right? He said that was his line he used, something like that. Because she was talking about what animal are you, a tiger or something like that, or I can't remember what animal Vern was. Vern did not want to do that show, and then he ended up getting married because of it. So go figure. Weird things happen. I think he actually got to tell Moose that story. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he did, or I don't know. He told Ned or something. I forget what happened. But all right, so we talked about the Chiefs. What gets us most excited, Nathan? And that was the running game for me. Is there something that you're like, man, I want to push all in on this team, but there's something out there that just, man, it scares me about this team because, optimism is up for every team in the NFL. Everybody, well, unless you're a Jets fan or Cardinals fan or Raiders fan, you're sitting there going, I think this season could be great if this happens. If this happens. Like for the Royals, we can sit here and say, man, if guys stay healthy, if guys stay healthy, we'll have a good season. Is there one position group on the Chiefs and you're like, I want to buy all in on them, but I know I got to put the red Kool-Aid down for just a second. But one part of this team does bother me. It does scare me.
Yeah, it's the D-line. It's the D-line. I still am beside myself that another veteran wasn't acquired at the edge position, and I know the team believes in Jelani.
sitting out there.
You said Clowney?
Clowney?
I would absolutely be in on Jadeveon Clowney. Absolutely.
Vita Vea was traded for defensive line.
I'm good on that one. On that contract, on that position, I'll stick with Kyrie's Tonga for his value. Thank you very much. But look, I know the team likes Ashton Gelati. They obviously put a lot of stock on R. Mason Thomas and that speed trait. I'm happy to see. I'm anxious to see what he can bring. And of course, Peter Woods. I believe he's going to be a capable running mate for Chris Jones. But again, that was if, and if. If they develop, if they show that their promise is more than just that. On the downside of that is these guys don't pan out, and we're sitting back with the what do you say, 22nd in the NFL in sacks last year. That's not good enough. That, even with a good cornerback room, led you to not being able to get up the field on third downs, not being able to get the ball back to your offense at the end of games as early as week 1 of last season. The pass rush was an absolute travesty last season. And so I'm staring down the barrel of that happening again this year if these guys don't pan out.
Yeah, I think it's scary. One thing, too, with sack numbers, because we can – well, one thing about sacks and pressures, because I know we look at pressures a lot, and how many pressures you're getting, because that's the most important. Sometimes – unless you're going against a quarterback like Mahomes, right? Like a team can pressure him, but he's going to make you pay when he does it. Like Sam Darnold, I saw plenty of times he would get pressured, but they wouldn't bring him down. He would still complete to JSN, a 40-yard completion, right? And he'd go for a touchdown. You got to bring players down. That's been my thing with Karlaftis. Yeah. You get there, that's fine, but you got to start bringing them down because I've seen way too many quarterbacks escape that, quote, pressure and deliver the football. Sure. That sack, man. Sack means everything because you're bringing them down.
I saw pressure affect Josh Allen in the AFC Championship game on that last heave down the field to Kincaid.
It helps.
But last year, I saw pressure not affect Justin Herbert in week 1. I saw pressure not affect Bo Nix on the road in Denver. I saw pressure not affect Dak Prescott in that Thanksgiving game. This team could not get off the field, but, hey, Karlaftis had pressures.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I know, yeah. It was like the quarterback win stat, like, Alex Smith, they always turned out, well, he's won this many games. Okay, well, what do you win in the postseason? What do you win in the postseason? That's what kind of matters to us all. But anyway, with me, Nathan, it's receivers still. I just get to this point because you've seen it so many times. And like I said, the last 2 years, it's one thing on paper leaving St. Joe. It's another thing, 4 weeks in the season. What do they have? Can you beat? I know you bring in Chad O'Shea. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with these receivers. But is that going to matter on 3rd and 8 when you're dropping a pass?
Yeah.
Is beating man coverage going to still be a problem? I mean, it's great that you bring in a new wide receiver coach that's capable to do it, but can the talent go out and do it? Because we believe in certain guys like Rashee Rice. When he came back from suspension, he was really good for 5 or 6 weeks. Remember, he's catching that back shoulder fade from Mahomes, and that chemistry was there. And then what happened? Started to drop passes, wasn't beating man, and then he reverted back to the mean. He was so good there in the beginning when he came back. You're like, man, we missed this production from Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
But then he slipped back to where that. So that's the part that concerns me, that you don't have that elite guy.
I'm relying more on the running game to balance out this offense than I was last year. However, I don't think the ability to beat man coverage or and I don't think that is necessarily improved year over year. And we'll see about things like discipline, finishing routes, field awareness. We'll see if O'Shea is the difference maker that we think he can be. The difference between the edge and wide receiver problem is, for me, I look at wide receiver knowing that this was always a next offseason problem. Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, the team has put they've invested in the position, and it just hasn't panned out. It doesn't mean that you can just keep investing premium picks and top contracts every year into the position.
Sure.
You have to still massage the rest of your team. You got to pick a Mansour Delane because you lose a Trent McDuffie, or you have to select a Peter Woods to prepare for the departure of Chris Jones. You have to still make those moves. A Simmons at left tackle because you want to put an end to that revolving door that was happening there before him. So wide receiver has always looked to me like, look, this next offseason you're going to rework the Jones contract, you're going to rework the Mahomes contract, and you're open for business. Trade, free agent, draft, whatever, by all means, get a pass catcher. That's going to be next year. And so I looked at the edge across from Karlaftis as something they could solve this offseason. I don't know if they have, and that's scary.
Yeah, but the receivers, to me, I understand. I'm really excited about this running game, but I want to see them work in tandem.
Yeah,
I want to see the receivers keep the defense on us so the running game can excel. And if your receivers aren't doing anything, your running game suffers.
And a play
Because then
action
all the
game
attention
would be great too.
Yeah,
A play action game, please.
And I really think with Walker playing off Mahomes, that duo with Mahomes going out there throwing for 350, well, that's going to open up a ton of lanes for Walker. And if Mahomes isn't getting the downfield and guys aren't breaking man coverage, then Kenneth Walker goes off. Like, what does the defense respect? What are the safeties doing? They worried more about the running game or the passing game, or can you kill them with both? Can you kill them with both weapons? So that's always interesting.
Can we say that a guy like, because we have said, and I know we got to get one more break in. I'll be brief. We have talked about how Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey are so highly paid and highly regarded, but the run game hasn't been good. They have not had a workhorse running behind them like Ken Walker. They have not had a gap hitter like Ken Walker. And I wonder if this could do big things for Kingsley Suamata'ia's career as well. There's not going to be room to pay a third man on the interior of that O-line. If this running game explodes this year and next season, then I think Kingsley could find himself a nice payday as well if he performs like he did last year.
Agree with you. Take a time out. We come back. There's just a Raiders line that they used that I'm really, really curious to get your opinion on next.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At Heartland Men's Health, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality. Using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation, libido, and overall body composition within just a few weeks. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, PSA and T-test, and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Future therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a social media manager.
Did you just post our Q4 earnings to your personal social media?
Oh yeah, used a trending audio and everything.
That's confidential financial data.
Relax. It only went a little viral.
The SEC just commented with the eyeball watching emoji.
This is your job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
When you see this in your kitchen,
the stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
You hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome back to After Hours. Jay Binkley, Nathan Williams. Hope you're having a good night. Hope you're having a good evening. Hope you're staying cool. I think tomorrow's going to be 88. A couple days of 88. Maybe some rain. 86, 84, 86, and 87 as you look at the 7 day or so. I don't see 90s and 100 in there, Nathan. So that's a nice little break for us.
I'm all in.
I'm all in, too.
Get out the heavy jackets, the coats, the parkas. You're going to need them.
Nice and cool. Get out the swimsuits. So I saw this from the Raiders, right? Always like seeing what the hell they're doing. Number one, this is from NFL.com. Number 1 overall pick, Fernando Mendoza will compete with Kirk Cousins, not competing against each other for Raiders' job. Make your mind up, man. You got to declare a guy at some point. Just say what you're going to do, which we all know. Cousins will start the first 4 or 5, then Mendoza will start. He'll sit behind him, he'll learn from him, and then boom, he goes, right?
I don't know if the sitting is necessary, but yeah, that's probably how it goes.
Because they're not really competing. Do you really think they're competing with each other?
Right.
Pushing each other to be the best quarterback possibly for the Raiders. Now, at some point, you brought in Cousins for a reason. I know you drafted Mendoza for a reason. Personally, I'd just rather go with the rookie, but they brought in Cousins for a reason. So have him learn behind him. Have Kirk Cousins play the role of Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes for Mendoza. But you know what's going to happen.
Alex Smith light and Patrick Mahomes light.
He'll start the first 4 or 5, right? Then he'll struggle, and then Mendoza will be the starter. And then the rest is history.
All right. So you think the Chiefs in week 4 get Mendoza's debut or not yet?
Yeah, I don't think against the Chiefs.
You think that's against Kirk Cousins?
I think
week 4 in Vegas?
I think it'll be against Cousins. But to push each other, do we really think they're going to push each other? No, Cousins was brought in there to be the starter.
Push each other to like 6-11 maybe in the best case scenario?
I don't know. I just know that team doesn't need to waste their window. They did the right thing. They get I'm talking about the Ashton Genty and the Brock Bowers before.
They've got like a hole in their basement baseboard. I don't really think they have a window.
They need to be decent enough until you got Max Crosby. Who knows how much longer he's got. But the fact is, okay, you got your quarterback now, and you went ahead and got the other pieces before him. You got Genty and Bowers there. Mm-hmm. So if they can start, wide receiver help and stuff like that, they actually have some nice pieces. You get the quarterback, you hope for the future of Mendoza, but then Ashton Genty in the backfield and Brock Bowers, it's a good little place to start.
Sure.
Unless you waste it all because you're developing your quarterback for 2 years, which you can't do.
I don't think their ceiling with this core is very high, even if they continue to develop it. And also they are the Raiders, so I don't believe they will continue to build on this. But hey, I don't think you're wrong.
I just want to beat the Broncos in week 1, man. It's just
amen, brother.
They've talked enough.
Amen.
They've talked enough. They've talked plenty. Anyway, Nathan, you'll be in here. Thank you very much for tonight. You'll be back in here at 6 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, sir.
What time do you get here?
That's
about 5:30?
About 5:15.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Nathan.
See you,
Thanks,
buddy.
Ron, for coming in. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. Good night.